Do you really think I'm coming to bring peace?
I tell you,
I
nay,
tell you what, love everybody.
nay.
I tell you no.
But rather division.
But rather what?
Division.
Okay, let's get the vision. Go to Matthew 25 and verse 31. Because we're going to see, this is entry-level scriptures. This is obvious that he come for the lost sheep of Israel. He hasn't come for Esau. The so-called Roman centurions are the Esau. The police officers are Esau. He hates the police. The Most High said he hates police officers because the Romans persecuted the Messiah and hang him on and put him on a cross. So the police officers are not loved in the Bible. When they say go to court, swear on the truth, the whole truth, so help you God. God doesn't say that the truth is the so-called white man to love him. Read it. Matthew 25 and 31. Let's read the Bible now. Because you know in slavery, they didn't want us to learn the Bible. The Roman centurions hated us learning the Bible. They would rather keep us in jail cells.
St. Matthew 25, 31.
When we're in jail, do you think we're not going to learn to read a book?
When the Son of Man shall come.
When the Son of Man shall come.
In his glory.
In his glory.
And all the holy angels
and
with him.
All the holy angels.
Then shall he sit upon the throne.
He's going to sit upon his
throne.
Glory. Of his glory. Keep reading,
and before him shall be gathered.
And he shall be gathered.
All nations.
All the Edomites. All the Philistines. All the Rask, and don't I be reading speech. All the Raska Ishmaelites. Yeah? Every one of them. Every nation shall bow.
And he shall separate them.
He's going to do what? Say that again. Say that again.
He's going to separate them.
Shakara just left the building. Let me take a quick walk in that time. If I can get the lamp on this one. One second. Let me see. Touch. You see, I can't turn on the torch, man.
No, you broke it down several times. Well, before the camera came out, you said
camera's there.
What's up, camera?
You do me back.
Well, we're talking about definitions. We're talking about bass guitar just a minute ago, but now we're talking about.
You see, it's a camera conversation.
No, you can talk, yeah.
You don't
well, to be honest, we've resolved. This gentleman here, I made a comment in the past. They made a comment in the past, didn't I? And I think you're questioning my comment. Oh, I'm good.
We can air it.
Yeah, I'm good.
You got the light out, yeah?
Yeah, we're talking about who is black. It's not a conversation like Jerry like having, but people really want to talk about who is black, who isn't black. And then I think you're talking who defines who's black. I say in my organisation, me. So that made talking very easy. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So that.
He looks like he might be.
Yeah. Well, we don't really deal with the whole light skin, dark skin kind of thing, unless we're trying to better the community.
You want to be in the camera? You don't, man.
I don't mind, bro.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm trying to get the definition of what Raven was saying to this brother.
Yeah. No.
Are you black?
Me? I mean, I'm not white.
do you identify as a black person?
Do you
I
identify
as a colourful stop.
Okay.
So what do you identify
Never let no
as?
put a colour on me.
Right.
Never. No way. Not black, not brown, not orange.
Are you identified as black?
By who?
By
anyone.
anyone.
Not as far as I'm aware.
So you won't be joining any black Betterment group then, would you?
I've never tried to join any black Betterment group.
But it won't happen though, will it?
In trying to apply for your black Betterment group thing.
Yeah.
You sound sour, bro.
Don't flatter yourself.
No.
You sound a bit sour.
We wouldn't even think about it because.
What's the question that you just asked me?
Well, the question: do you identify as black?
Yeah.
After that.
I don't know. I can't remember that. My friend, maybe you.
You can't remember.
Said, how do you?
The conversation that started is I made a comment in the group, didn't I? In the comment section, where you were trying to quote unquote help black community.
No. You said
Am I
in the
mistaken?
comment section. Before he tries to help our community, has he helped his own community?
Yeah, it's a very good point. Yeah,
and I said to you, as far as I'm concerned, my community is the people that I live around.
Yeah.
I don't define my community by a colour or by a religion.
Yeah, and
the description of community is the people that you live around.
Yeah, and characteristics.
So, as a Londoner, my fellow Londoners are part of my community.
Yeah, so I try.
To answer your question,
Yeah.
do I help my community
Yeah.
before I help another community?
Yeah.
For me, it's one community.
I'm glad you said
Okay.
that. So I try to train black people to ignore that because I feel that that isn't going to help black people. I feel that black people are in the most need of help.
Yeah.
So when we
As you
practice,
said, I'm not a black person.
exactly.
I'm not going to ignore it.
Oh no, but as a non-black person, you can practice anything you like, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
Matter of fact, as a black person, you can practice what you like. I can't force a person to take interest in bettering their own community. Yeah, I can only show you the benefits and hope it makes sense to you.
No, but my community is London.
Oh no, but I'm talking through you two black people at the moment. So,
Talking through me to
yeah,
black people.
because
Why do you need to talk through me to black people?
because you identify you're not black, but we're having a conversation about black Betterment building. So the most important thing is black
Talking
people get
through
something.
me to black people.
Yeah, through you to someone else.
So the camera's on.
Yeah.
To the camera, don't talk through me.
Well, I can't actually see it at the
Talk
moment.
to the camera.
But you was
Yeah.
having a conversation
Yeah,
with
we're
them.
having a
bro.
conversation.
Hey, back up, fam. What you
Yeah,
touching?
yeah, it was touching me.
Because you can't see
I'm
him.
good, man. We can see
Yeah,
him.
do you know what I mean?
You see him.
But what I'm saying is, talking to you sometimes it seems very
Yeah,
circular.
so defensive.
You getting so aggy for?
Yeah,
You know what I
you
mean?
like,
But
what's up with that?
but this
Touch
is
your back and you acted like you was under
You
attack.
trying to control
My
man,
word.
so you crazy.
yeah.
When you had all of them
this is-
white ideal people, was that how you going with them?
No one didn't try to touch man, fam. If they would have, it would have been unbloody crazy.
It's beneficial we don't touch each other, though. Isn't it? It's beneficial we don't touch
Over
each other.
here started to go.
Yeah.
Is your camera rolling? Is your camera rolling? Hey, back up,
This
fam.
is a talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where we go? Where we go?
Yeah, no. So what we're saying is, that, yeah, I come
So
up with.
what do you identify as then? 'Cause
Me?
You didn't answer. Yeah.
A Londoner, straight up,
All right,
born and bred.
well, you should help the London community.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do help the London
So what do
community.
you do?
What do you mean?
What do you do to help?
The London community?
Yeah.
I raise a family in London. I run businesses in London. I support people around me that might be slightly deprived. But I'm not here to start trying to boast.
Right,
about
so here's what I do.
No,
yeah?
no, no. But I'm asking because you said that you.
Well,
help.
here's what I do. You can fit in. So I run a network that gets black people together on certain topics, whether it's health, self-esteem, land reform, justice, you name it, right?
I don't deal with discriminative organisations. I just deal with people that.
Why is
see
it?
people as
Why
black.
are you call it?
It's unity.
discrimination?
I don't deal with no discrimination.
Well, neither do we. Neither do we. What we do?
deal with
No, we don't.
discrimination.
What happens?
Only black people can join your
Well, no, because we are.
That's
Because,
discrimination.
no. We because we are victims of discrimination. We have a solution, which means self-determination.
Yeah.
So we are
I
the
said I
victims
don't
of.
deal with discrimination.
Neither do we. We deal with
discrimination.
fixing discrimination. Is why we come together. But you, as a non-black person, that might make no sense. I don't even get what that
I
even
don't
means.
deal with
That's alien
groups
science
that
to
deal
me.
with segregation. Maybe that's better.
Say again.
I don't deal with groups that deal with segregation. I'm not about segregation.
So if a woman said they want to make a women's group, is that segregation?
If a woman,
So if women said they want to make a women group that deals with women issues, is that wrong?
I didn't say that was wrong. I said what I deal with. I didn't tell you that what you're doing is wrong. I
Is
said
it
that to you.
segregation?
Yeah,
Did I say to you what you're doing is wrong?
But the question, I'm asking the question. Is it right or wrong in your judgment?
If a group of women
Yeah.
made a group
Yeah, that
deal
deals with women issues.
that's fine, but I won't have enough to do that because I don't deal with segregation.
Because you're not a woman.
Exactly.
Well, more importantly, forget segregation, you're not a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
So how can you ask me if I'll deal with that group? I wouldn't deal with it.
Well, yeah.
No, because we was talking
Yeah.
about segregation, bro.
It's
I'm
like-
saying that I
yeah.
personally, I don't deal with segregation. I just deal with my community is the people that I'm around. The bus
Okay.
driver's black, the guy in the corner shop's Indian, the guy in the bagel shop's Jewish. They're all part of my community.
Right.
I've got
Okay.
love for all of them.
Yeah, and I've heard you say this a lot of time, and I think you kind of, I don't
So
think
wait.
your understanding might be slightly different to how we
I
understand
don't
things.
see things in black or white. Simple as that.
No, but that's not the
I'm
case,
trying to
bro.
watch my TV
You have to
black
think
and
about
white. I'm
people's
like HD.
experiences.
I'm
You know what I
looking
mean?
HD, 3D and everything still.
You have to think about people's experiences,
Yeah,
though. You get me?
Well, he can't though because he's not black.
No, but I do think about our experiences.
That's what I'm saying.
I can
This
think
is why-
about
this is
my-
why
I
it's
just can't
a-
think about my experiences. 'cause
But
you're not-
But you're not
I
saying
can't.
your experience. You're
Yeah,
saying that you
yeah.
don't identify as black.
Yes.
So I can't see what you're talking about. You're talking about raising a family, having businesses, and all of those things pertain to you and help you.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you what you're doing for your community, which is the wider community in London, and you just spoken about what things that help you.
No, what I did for my community.
No, but people put money into your businesses to help you,
No, okay.
and
two
then
things.
your
First-
you
firstly,
having a
what I'm trying
family
to- what I'm
contributes
saying-
to
what I'm
you.
saying is that, no, what I'm saying is that.
Is your missus the same racial background as you?
Say it again.
Is your missus the same racial background as you?
Is my missus similar?
Where's she from?
Similar. not
What's her
too-
country? What's her
Yeah,
country?
actually, she's from the UK.
No, but meaning lineage.
Lineage. To be honest, I don't go too much into my life story
Yeah,
on
I hear
the
you, I
internet.
hear that.
You know what I mean?
All right, well, you know.
Yeah, I've
I hear
got a
that.
couple of chicks around me still. From different places. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
wow.
So, yeah. You know us Muslims got more than one wife, innit?
Oh, so you're Muslim.
Oh, you're Muslim now. Uh-oh.
No, but
Nah,
that
might have
makes.
been a lie. That might have been a lie. Go through. What's next? Come with some more questions.
No,
I
I'm
like
just,
it, I like it. Anything
no, because
from
you're not saying nothing.
Yeah.
Ali
Really,
Jihad,
that,
yeah, that's
like,
my name, Ali Jihad.
Right.
I've got some
Okay.
jokes here too, by the way.
Ali Jihadi in
Ali
the building.
Jihad, the hard, not I at the end. Don't put I trying to get man's nick.
That's what
bro.
you told me the first
No, I
day,
said
bro.
Ali Jihad. Jihad. Yeah, G dash
Ali
H
Jihad.
Jihad. Ali Jihad.
Glad that was it, really.
Jihad.
Hey.
It's not Jihad.
You remember that, bro.
That's the one.
Yeah, I like it. So there's some humor in
And we're
there too,
surrounded by
like
police as well, you know.
Yeah, we're there.
And we're surrounded by
You random the other day, you forgot, bro.
Don't say me and you, fam. I was just
You were part of it, fam. Don't even try it. You were there, you were part of it. They ran away
I was
from you.
just there, fam.
More than they ran away from me.
They went away from me.
Yeah, where we going? What's the next question? What's the next question? Let's bring it forward.
Well, it's, like I said, no matter what people say, we have a starting premise, and that's just what it is. Do you know what I mean? So I think with you, I always see you on these topics of black people coming together, and you always have a question of the why. And do you know why you're so interested in this why, of why black people come together and why non-black people are not part of it? In yourself?
I'm not so interested in it. I'm interested in bettering my community.
Right, which is the London community,
And
right?
for me, when I look at the youngsters,
Yeah.
you know, as I said, when I was at school, there were no kids walking around with blonde afros and ginger afros. But at the moment, I've got a lot of youths around me that come from different countries. As I said to you, for example, I've got youths that are half Sierra Leone, half English,
That's
half
right.
Guyana, half Irish, half Afghanistan, half Jamaican.
Well, they can join
You
the group.
understand?
They can
So
join the group.
basically, I've got a lot of youths around me from different nationalities, and I can see there's an increase in that going on in London.
Yeah.
So for me, if I'm trying to help my community within London, I don't think that segregation is the way forward. I
Well,
think the way forward is to try to unify and help each other.
Uh,
So the reason why I asked you, as a fellow Londoner, is, you know, the strategy that you seem to bring to the table. It seems to be similar to what was going on in the 70s with Malcolm X and all that. I think it's a different time now.
No,
I don't know,
no,
bro.
it's not-
That's an assumption, you know.
That's an assumption, isn't it?
I think that's a different time now, but don't get me wrong. I do see some positivity in what you're doing, but it's just not the
Well,
angle that I would go with.
No, but then remember, I train black people to not necessarily listen to that, in the sense of like, there is no real value in listening to non-black people about black issues and then really be concerned about.
So there's no value
No.
in listening to non-black people about black issues.
Yeah. So when it comes to
So
motivate,
basically, so if you've got a black issue,
yeah,
like, as I spoke to you earlier,
very little
and
value.
I
Very
said to
little.
you, earlier that if in 10 years' time the Asian community and the Asian youth go through an epidemic knife crime
Yeah.
situation,
Right.
it might be a good idea for them to speak to some people or community that's been through that, so they can give us advice. And you said that yes, that would be a good idea.
Well,
so now you're just
But
saying,
that would be a form of constructive advice.
Yeah, well,
Having a non-black person sitting around black people going, I don't agree, no one's going to benefit from that.
no one's trying to do that. But I'm saying to you, in terms of advice, you can take, at whatever community you are, you can take advice from different communities.
Of course.
Well,
So
you would
us
just say,
as a community of London, we can look in other cities across the world even and say, one minute, what's happening in that city where the kids aren't killing themselves?
But these are givens, though, isn't it? So
And we can look at that.
Well, these are givens, aren't they, bro?
We can learn from other
Yeah.
cities and other civilizations.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, sometimes it's easier for us to look outside of the box to find out solutions to our problems.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, no.
Well, the box I have is much bigger than you think, isn't it? It's the global black community, and we start locally, then go globally. So in London, I'm trying to unify black people to have constructive ways of existing, and I'm quite successful to be honest. I'm going to and the reason why is because my message hasn't changed. It's not like wrestling.
Change the subject for a minute,
You
because
might-
we saw the police drive past us. Can I just ask you a question?
Right.
What do you think of like people of your community joining the police?
Well, there's small discussion, a big discussion. The small discussion is if they join and they practice oppression, then this is an issue. But a bigger strategy is if you have a mass group of black people join the police to infiltrate, to actually make sure that racism is in practice, then I support this concept.
So,
100%.
so as far as you're concerned, it's all right for black people to join the police.
As long as there is a strategy,
Depending on the
as long as there's a strategy to not practice racism, I would say it's a good thing. So, for example, when not that we're at war, quote unquote, but when there's a war, you have people who actually become spies, where they have to go into other enemy combatants and pretend to be that. I'm not saying that we're at war. What I'm saying is that's a similar concept you can think. If the police is infiltrated and people are practicing racism, then it will be benefit for non-racists to infiltrate that and practice non-racism.
So if you had 3 sons and one of them said he wants to join the police force, what would you say to him?
I would say that if he's going to join a collective black group where they're going to infiltrate the police station to make it better, then I'll support him 100%.
So the police, so you're saying that all the black people should get together and try to join the police force together? Is that what you're saying? That doesn't sound very realistic.
Well,
There should be more people that can relate with the struggle, rather than other people coming from other communities dealing with black children that they don't understand and sometimes are fearful of.
So one second. Quite a straightforward question.
Yeah.
I thought that was a straightforward answer, no?
I didn't get it. If you've got 3 kids and one of them wants to join the police force, you're going to say to him, only join if there's a whole heap of other black people trying to join at the same time.
I would say that having like a strategy or a career community strategy, and the one I would recommend to my son is it's best if you and other collective try to infiltrate whichever station it is to make it have a better reaction to, people who are mistreated, to be honest.
So join the police force in numbers. Your message to the black people is join the police force
Definitely,
in numbers.
Definitely. So that would be a better strategy than just willy-nilly one person going on to get along. Having an actual strategy, like we're going to join and we're going to try to change the practices of corrupt cops or corrupt police people. Not all police people are corrupted. There's many cool people, but if we don't know who they are, we're just swinging in the dark.
I think I've seen you sitting in a circle and start shouting cops at the ops. And they're saying,
Cops are the ops, though.
You seen Raven do that?
I've seen you in a circle saying cops at the ops.
Well, put it this way.
They are, though.
Well, me personally, I've made my statement. It's like it's hard to determine who's for you and who's against you, But so you have to always be suspicious.
Are they the ops or aren't they the ops?
What do you mean? In what sense? The corrupt police officers will always be the ops, won't they?
And the ones that are not corrupt?
Well, if they're not practicing corruption, then they're workers, isn't it? They are working for a system that.
But then aren't they a part of that? Aren't they a part of that? Because
controversial
no,
stuff's coming out.
you know why they are part of it. If they choose not to speak out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You talking
complicit.
If they're complicit. Yeah, that's different.
At the end of the day, if they see something going wrong,
Yeah.
and they don't speak out against it, then they are part of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And what I'm saying, the reason why I'm saying numbers is because when you have one individual, it's hard to make a difference. When you have a collective, then you have more of a strength in it. Strength in numbers kind of concept. So I'm not telling anyone to go be the police. I'm saying that it'd be good if you could police your own community, but if you're going to, have a strategy to do it. I'm not this yes/no kind of person where I'm saying yes/no. Apart from the whole Black Betterment thing, where I'm saying Black Betterment group should be 100% Black people driven, and that's my 100%. That's my 100%. Everything else, that's what it is. Yeah. So that's pretty much that. Yeah. Like most questions you ask.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
If one of your children wanted to join like another religion, would you support it?
If one of my kids wanted to join another religion, would I support him?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't support him.
There you go.
To support another religion.
There you go.
Because as far as I'm concerned, Islam is the truth.
Well.
Okay.
So
then isn't
How
that
does that relate
forcing?
to the police thing? I don't get it.
It relates because you're not teaching your children freedom, no?
Say again?
Freedom of choice.
Freedom of choice.
Yeah.
When it comes from an Islamic point of view, as a believer, the creator of the heavens and the earth, I believe that we are slaves to the Most High, and although we have a choice in that, it's the right thing for us to do is to follow our religion in that way, because that's what my understanding is of the religion and the rules within the religion. So I'll teach that to my son.
I would.
Would he have a choice to follow or not? Yes, he would. If he decides not to follow, am I going to support him in not following? No. If he decides to follow, I'll support him in following. Yes.
That's a bit. Do you know what it is? Yeah. Fine. You're gonna teach your son the best things you know, innit?
I'll teach you what I consider
Definitely.
to be the truth.
Yeah. Of course. We all would do so. Yeah. The best we know.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a point of accountability, when your son gets to a certain age where he starts to be aware and conscious of his surroundings, and he starts to ask questions, what you're saying is I'll only support him if he does what I do and not go against what I do.
No, when you say support him, do you mean like support him in which way? Like,
Or, well, what you just said ain't support.
what do you mean? Like support him in which way?
What you just said about if he does go with the religion, you will support him,
that
and if he
decision.
doesn't,
Yeah.
you won't support him.
In his religious decision,
Yeah.
what religion he's following, I won't. So if he says right, I want to become a Buddhist, for example, I'm going to support that aspect of his religion. No, I wouldn't support that. But it doesn't mean that I won't support him as an individual. I'll truly continue supporting him as an individual.
Okay.
So
I'm not sure if that like taking away. It's kind of taking away the freedom or choice when it comes to individuals, isn't it?
would you love him any less though? Would you love him any less?
He's saying he's. Sorry, go on. You said you'll say what you
Would
said.
you love him any less?
I don't believe I would. I don't believe I would. No.
Would you stop him? Would you try to stop him from being a non?
I don't think you can stop any adult from doing anything. But what, physically stop him?
I don't know.
Stop him how? I wouldn't.
No, but
I would
is it-
encourage
you know-
him to
you know-
come back to the religion, and I'll teach him, and I'll try to clear up anything that he might be confused about. But I can't stop an adult from doing anything.
Ali, you got a channel now?
No, he's
a light
lighting
man.
up. He's lighting up the black people.
He's a light bearer.
Jihad. Oh, by the name
couldn't-
Jihad. Acts, yeah? By the way.
So,
Yeah, Jihad. for
So
sure.
did I answer? Did I answer your questions? There? It makes sense everything I'm saying.
Jedi.
Jihadi Jedi. I've seen that comment a few times. Sorry, my brother. What did you say?
Did I answer your questions?
I didn't ask no question. We just having a conversation.
No, before, because you asked
Yeah,
us about the
earlier,
police and
before the
stuff.
camera
The police
came
and
in,
because you said I want to talk about the police.
One
thing.
second. Let me ask. Maybe we can bring Jedi into this
There you
conversation.
go. Bring him in. Yeah.
This gentleman here was saying that if he had three youths and one of them wanted to join the police, he said, yeah, go through.
That's not my answer. That wasn't my answer.
As long as there's enough of them
Yo,
going through together.
See,
As long as
that wasn't my
as long
answer.
as there's enough
That doesn't even sound like a Raven answer. That doesn't even sound like a Raven answer.
He said, no, a few others.
The bigger question was black people join the police, right? So the bigger question was black people join the police, right? I said if black people are going to collectively try to infiltrate the police to change it, then I will support that strategy. Yeah, as in you're trying to infiltrate to make a difference. Fair enough. That was the bigger question.
I do kind of understand the sense behind that. Because if you get enough of the right people in there, you might be able to change stuff.
Yeah,
I
it's
kind of
like
understand the logic behind it. Any questions coming from there?
oh, you understand it now.
I kind of do understand. I didn't say that I don't understand the logic. I'm just saying that.
But you do that quite a lot. You summarize the things I say quite sharp, and you miss like the nuances, which is a big part of what I'm about.
I'm just saying that you can't say that and shout out at the same time. You can't say. I'm just saying you can't make that statement.
Everyone knows a white man is
at the same
devil.
time. That's what I'm saying.
Look at them guys over there.
I'm not the person who's originating cops of the ops, am I? So if you're talking about gang, everyone.
What about you as an individual shouting out cops of the ops?
I don't know if I'm on record running around shouting cops of the ops. I don't know if I'm on record.
I've heard it come out of your mouth though.
Well, you must be studying me better than me, and well done.
But we can look statistically and see that it is actually a truth. At the moment, the cops are operating as the actual opposition to the black male youth, especially. That's a fact statistically. We know.
I agree. I think that
If we look at assault for assault, pound for pound, and we look for conviction rates, we can see that there's definitely an issue with the police force versus the young black community. You know that's a fact. Don't you know that? Not just the young black community, with the community in general. Cops of the Ops is a slogan not just for black people, but for the community in general. There's been disparity in terms of injustice against the people when it comes to the police force. That's a fact. And until they fix their act, or until that is addressed and things are rectified, just like how they always charge and push and prosecute on a crime if they have the evidence. So they should do that when it's time to judge themselves and discipline themselves. But they don't do that, and we see that time and time again. So yeah, until certain policies are changed, and we can see total change, and like Raven says, an influx of a balance to represent, especially in our communities, If it was more of a balance and an influx of people from those communities, then yeah, we can maybe think about redressing the cops of the ops statement. But until then, they're clearly
I think that
They're clearly not on our side, so they're the opposition.
I think that statement also goes for the Muslim community right now. Most definitely, as a Muslim, you know, we kind of believe in cops or the ops because they're kind of like we're their new target at the moment. So I agree with you, but I think it's an interesting situation because.
But you didn't? Did you agree with it before you became their new target?
Say again?
And before they became your new target, or before
Cops
you
have always
became,
been the opposite to
before
me,
you
but
became,
now-
before the Muslims became the police's new target, did they believe cops are the ops just going on how they treated us, black people?
What did the Muslims believe?
Yeah, because you just said that.
No, I mean I can only talk about what I.
Okay, because you just mentioned.
Oh,
okay. So you're retracting that statement that you made.
The statement I'm saying to you now is that a lot of the Muslims that I know
Oh.
agree with the statement that the cops are the ops.
Because Muslims are now the new whipping boy of the police, is in your opinion. So what happened when they weren't the new ones and it was just the black community? Did they believe cops were the ops then?
I'd have to ask them. I wouldn't know.
That'd be
What about-
interesting,
what about
bro.
you then?
That'd be interesting.
For me, cops have always been the ops, and they don't.
So what's the issue with Raven? If you've seen Raven say it, what would it be a problem with Raven saying that
No,
statement?
because I think it's a difficult situation because if we're saying cops are the ops on one hand, but on the other hand we're saying that, you know, should we join the police?
Yeah.
You said it.
I never said that.
No, the question was should we join the police? Should ethnic people join the police? Now, the answer that you gave,
Say ethnic people.
You're
you say.
ethnic as well.
You
though.
say ethnic
No,
people.
don't you come under umbrella?
yeah, I think someone that about too.
Ethnic.
So
Oh, we was talking about black people, and you said you don't come under them.
Ethnic and black. So can you be black but not ethnic? Can you be Can you be black? So are blacks exempt from the ethnic group?
You tell me.
You just said it, right? Ethnic and black.
Yeah, I'm saying ethnic. I'm saying ethnic. As far as I say ethnic, it encompasses all of those other ethnicities apart from the whites. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, ethnic
Oh,
does include black. But what does ethnic mean to you?
I don't mean shit to me. You don't mean shit to me. I don't use it.
When you hear ethnic group, what does that mean?
I don't know. It sounds like some I don't know, some pigeonhole that they try to put people in. I don't know.
What does it mean?
It's an inaccuracy. I don't know. First of all, you say ethnic minorities, so I know you're definitely not talking about my people. You get me? So
Well, in this country,
then you're talking about what? A specific group. Just call who you're talking about. You just don't want to list everyone, because no one's from nowhere. Everyone's from somewhere.
but in this country,
Everybody's from somewhere. Even them. They're not even the royal family. So it makes no sense. That's why they baffle you with stuff like ethnic minority. Everyone come from somewhere else, and will continue to migrate and move and intermingle. That's the truth. The rest is just a politics thing to control us and have us running around like headless chickens, rather than focusing on our issues. So if Raven's got some techniques that he wants to try and employ to see that his community is actually progressing, and that's what he should be focusing on. You don't need to worry about what ethnics think about joining the police force. That's nothing to do with what man's on or what gang's on.
what community are you talking about? What community
What,
is it?
I don't know, bruv. You got to come to where I live, and I got to go to where you live. Community is community, innit?
I'm both living
Get
in
me?
London, though.
Okay, cool. So is London one big community?
I asked you what you
Is London one big community? London is one big community, yeah?
To a certain degree, yeah.
Well, not in my perspective. Sorry. Not when you got postcode beefs. Yeah, not when you got postcode wars. I don't. No.
Still intercommunity
No,
beef, though.
no. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I believe communities don't work like that. I think you've been taking a holistic approach towards communities, and that's not really what we're talking about. But it's cool, man.
By definition, a community is people that live in the same
Yeah, with a common union, with a common thing. So if people in Hackney and people in Peckham are not one community.
Yeah, they could be one community.
They could be on a higher level, but not in the sense we're talking. Not, okay.
At this present time,
They
they're
could
not
all.
a community,
Alright, whatever,
So
anyway, man.
basically, they both speak the same language.
Yeah.
They go to the same schools.
Yeah.
They probably
But
eat
you're
similar foods.
romanticizing though, bro.
Yeah.
Because it's not actually what's
They
happening
use
in
the
the
same
reality.
transport system. It's all one. It's still one community.
What are you doing to achieve this dream then?
It's not a dream. I don't think you don't know the definition of the word community. Do you want to look it up for
Okay,
you?
do
Do
that
you want me to
if
look
you
up
want
the word
to.
community for you?
Well,
It's
you
quite
can
a-
do it to the
it's
character,
quite a-
but
it's
really,
quite an easy definition.
we're,
you
we're,
know.
we're thinking of purpose and doing things for reasons,
Look,
isn't it?
a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. Let me read that again. A group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common.
Cool.
So-
In that
What's
case,
the
we're all in the
basic-
community. The world.
Say again?
The world.
Yeah.
We're all in the
It's the same
community.
because this is in the
Yeah, it
same
is.
place.
We're all in, yeah, we live in the same place, Earth. Earth. Why? They didn't be specific, did they? They didn't be specific. Because then you're denoting, hold on, then you're denoting separate places then. Do you agree that they're separate places or not? Because if one country is separate to another, then one area, one community could be, like, come on, you're being silly now, bro. Microcosm and macrocosm, you know this, man. Why are you being disingenuous, bro? You know, yeah, but, alright, cool, man. No problem, though.
Someone's got a different opinion than you, don't mean that they're being disingenuous.
More, I don't know, man.
I heard that word being used quite a lot.
You know what it is?
I've got a different opinion than you doesn't mean I'm being disingenuous.
Okay,
It's
but
like-
when you already show separation through countries and say, oh well, that's not one community, because you read out the definition and now you're trying to specify where that definition did not specify. So you're being as generous as you can. I'm giving you being as generous, and you're like, no, not different countries. Are you from South America? So I'm saying, all right, cool. Are you from South London? If you live in Cricklewood. No, you're not. So there's possibly they could view themselves as separate communities. It's so simple. Yeah, they use the same stuff.
So we have a difference.
It's a silly argument.
We have a difference of opinion on whether London is one community or not. It doesn't mean that any one of us is being disingenuous. It just means we have a difference of opinion.
Fair dues, thank you.
Yeah, we agree with that. But I think one thing, I'm talking about actually doing stuff. So that's why every time I actually talk to you, we kind of get like a circular conversation, which is fine. But I'm actually about finding tangible solutions to do actual things. So all this kind of definition, even though it's important, once I've defined something, I move to the next phase. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm talking about community, I'm not talking about the London community. I'm talking about the quote-unquote black community because there's issues that affect quote-unquote black people.
Yeah, and I'm saying to you, my community, I have to look at it as race, I'm not as a London community. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying to you.
but then I train black people to ignore that concept because that hasn't been working for a long time.
But black is not a race, though.
But
Black ain't a race, bro. Black is not a race.
Yeah, it's not right.
It's a label that certain people have been given
Yeah.
to identify them as the opposition
Yeah,
or
but
the target, rather.
Yeah, but neither are quote-unquote black people.
go by colour.
Yeah, but there's a reality that people have to deal with, so we try to find solutions based upon that. I've given bare examples of things like if we all wear pink shoes and we got beat up because we wore pink shoes, it makes sense for the pink shoe people to form a union to defend us from being beat up if we value wearing pink shoes. You know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't mean that we're the same kind of.
understand that.
You know what I mean? We come together for a common goal, isn't it? So if people are oppressed because they call me black, it makes sense for me to form a black defense, concept to stop being oppressed.
Yeah, I said to you, I'm not making out like I don't understand that.
Well,
I'm
good.
saying I'm not on the same viewpoint as that. That's what I'm saying.
But I train black people to ignore
When
that.
you made the comment,
Bro.
I don't like language like that, man. Language like it just.
before I look for any other community, this started off as a comment that you made.
Do you know what? It just sounds pretty, like what you just said.
Kumbaya.
Don't-
Sexy language.
Yeah, it don't sound like nothing like just be straight in it. If you don't like segregation, like you said before, you don't like segregation. By the end of the day, if you don't understand the struggle, say you don't understand the struggle as well. Because you won't, if you don't identify as something, you're not gonna understand the struggle that the people that are going through it are going through. You get me? You're not gonna understand that.
Yeah, but I understand people that are going through struggles. Do you understand? I don't need to directly
but
identify
you-
with the struggle to understand the struggle.
But okay, let's go with the Muslim community going through being identified as people with backpacks that go and blow up places. You understand that struggle, right?
Say it again?
You are identified as people that go around blowing up people. Yeah? That's what you're identified as at the
Yeah,
moment.
that's what they're trying to identify as, yeah.
Well, that's what you are identified as. If people see you, sometimes they might mistake you for a terrorist. That's what they will do.
Correct,
Yeah?
Correct.
You understand that struggle, and that's something that you will go and speak to another Muslim brother about and say to them, listen, we don't have to subscribe to that. Like, you understand? Now you guys come on a mutual understanding, and you come to some solutions so that you guys can go about your daily business. This is what Raven's doing with the wider black community. And you're saying, like, well, what are you saying? Because
He's
I'm
against
saying
it.
this. When the gentleman made the comment in the comment section that I should concern myself with what have I done for my community before I concern myself with doing anything for another community. That's the comment he made.
I agree.
And I'm saying to you that as far as I'm concerned, my community is the people that I live around. So I'm doing things for my
But
community.
you haven't identified, because the joke asked you, you haven't identified what that is.
I told you what my community
You
is
talk about
already.
making
I
love to
heard
women and
that
stuff.
50 times already.
It's like you haven't.
That's what he said.
People that I live around.
But what have you done for the Londoners then? What have you done?
What have I done for the people that live around?
For London.
Me?
You
Yeah.
said
What have you done for London?
community,
Yeah,
London
for the
community.
people that London,
The English community.
for the people that live around me in my London community.
Yeah, what have you done
I've
for
done a lot for them.
Can you name one?
Yeah, I can name a lot of things.
Can you name one? Just one.
I can say last week I took one of the youths to football. What about that?
Okay, cool. That's good.
I mean, I'll start making a whole list for you.
And it's because he was a Londoner you did that?
Say again?
It's because he was a
This
Londoner.
is someone in my locality that couldn't get to football,
Right.
so I took him there with my son.
Right. Would you set up like a coach business that takes children to football?
I'm in the
Anyone
process
from
of doing
London?
that right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
From
I'm in the
London, you
process
can
of
do
doing that right now.
Okay. And would it be strictly for the London community?
For the local community, yeah.
What if someone from Manchester wanted to use it?
Set up a branch up there next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your community is not just London. It's
No, my community is London.
okay.
But if there's people up in Manchester that need the same service, we can set up there.
People in
branch up
Milton
there.
Keynes are salty right now. Luton Crew is salty.
Yeah, that's all neighbouring communities, isn't it? Neighbouring communities.
Distance.
That's neighbouring
But
communities.
wouldn't you think it's effective to be like more specific if you targeted like your block as well? Because you know that opening the doors to anyone in London to do your charitable good works, that's good. I feel like you've got take pride in your city. But I don't think it's the same as getting down into grassroots organisations that deal with stuff on your front doorstep and in your locality. Would you agree? Huh? Exactly. So then, what's in your locality is what's your community, innit? And what's close to you. Obviously, house, home, family, and locality. This is what we're talking about in community. Just so happens that they happen to be black, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
And they want to target that audience because they know the issues and they're literate on the issues of that section of society. So they're targeting their thing. That's simple. Just like you have Muslim groups that are Muslim charities that work on people that are Muslim. Just it, innit? It's just standard.
the only difference between what I'm doing and what you're doing is that I'm not discriminating against nobody.
No one's discriminating. No one's discriminating. I don't think that's righteous.
Any receptive
He's
to
actually what he's doing is pinpointing a specific group that he's gonna focus his attention on because he's trying to be a specialist in that group. That's it. Bruv, bruv, this is old, bruv. You don't go to the blind charity and look for deaf aids, hearing aids. You understand?
Specific
Come on,
charity.
bro, man. Come on, man.
I think deep down you might have a dislike to black people. Quote unquote.
I think so,
You
too.
might have a dislike to black people without knowing it. Because you're not walking to women and doing the same thing. You're not walking to people in a wheelchair and doing the same thing. But black people, you have a lot of energy to talk about.
I don't know if you'd even qualify in that.
Say again?
I said if I had a dislike to black people, I don't know if you'd even qualify in that.
I don't know what that means, but you know it. Tell me what that means so we
It
understand.
means it's a nonsensical statement, the same statement that you just made.
But I don't understand what it means
How
at
can
all,
you be
like
saying
at
to
all
me
in
that
any dynamic.
What made you think I've got dislike to black people?
No,
I
I'm
said
saying,
you don't know if you qualify as
Yeah.
what? As black?
What
Yeah, I
makes
don't know.
Are you saying you don't know if Raven
Raven
qualifies as black?
Is
What
that-
makes
yeah.
you think that I've got a dislike to black people?
I don't know. I'm saying that.
So why
I'm
did
saying
you make that statement?
here's why. If
Why did you make that statement
Let
that I've
Reggie
got a
cook
dislike
him
to black
anyway.
people?
here's why.
Big statement.
Are you gonna repeat yourself a third time? Fourth time?
You're saying that I'm racist.
Fifth time?
Yeah.
Sixth time?
What's that?
You asked me a question. Would you like me to answer it?
Yes.
Okay, here's what it is, yeah. The same dedication that you're going amongst the black people. And we've seen it with respect myself and others, right? About why this black, why that.
Constantly.
You're
It's always the same
you
narrative.
ain't doing it with women. You ain't doing it with people in wheelchairs. You ain't doing it with Muslims or Christians. But you have this particular like something that black people you need to give their opinion about how we operate. And now you just said something about me, which
always up in man's
is
sleeve.
interesting. Explain to the camera what you meant by that statement you said about me, because that's
Explain to the camera what you meant.
I just did,
about I'm
but you
related-
wasn't listening.
So you're saying because I've been around some black people and I've been questioning the attitude of trying to help out only black people as opposed to the community, that means that I must be racist. Is that what you're saying?
I never said that.
That's what you said.
No, I never said
That's
that.
what you said.
I never said that.
You said I have a dislike to black people. That's what you said. So-
You've taken it somewhere else. You've
So,
taken it
how's
somewhere else,
that,
right?
so you're saying because I've come to speak to black people,
There is a
about-
bias.
One second, because
there-
I've come to speak to black people
there's the answer that you're
about
jumping
certain
over.
issues that they're talking about,
You have
that
a-
means I don't like
You
black
seem
people.
to have a
Does that make sense?
dedicated
Being a
bias
bit sensitive.
towards.
Does that make sense?
Well,
How
here's-
do I come to talk to black
say
people
it
if
one
I
more
don't
time.
like black
Just
people?
say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Right? You seem to have a dedicated bias towards the people known as black.
I
Right?
have a dedicated bias.
From my observation of your practices, I've never seen you display these kind of mannerisms around other people groups. Do you understand? I've never seen
How long have you
it.
been watching me for?
Say again?
How long have you been watching me for?
Well, well, you seem to be always in these kind of issues. Can you show me? Can you point me to a video footage of you being this critical towards a different people group?
But I'm not being critical. That's the whole points that you got wrong. I'm not being critical.
Well, you're using terms like
segregation.
segregation. These are strong terms.
You said,
aren't they?
what else would it say?
Discrimination.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm saying that you're segregating. Yeah, I'm saying that you're segregating yourself.
You've accused us of practicing racism. Well, I said we are reacting to racism by showing self-determination. You see? But you have your own.
The Muslim charities, even though they segregate against Christians.
Let's go back to the statement that you made.
Even though they segregate,
And you said that you wouldn't let your son be a
Let's
Buddhist.
go back to the statement that you made.
What? You wouldn't let your son be a Buddhist?
Why not?
And they're part of our world community. What? It's all inclusive.
No, can I come in here? He didn't say that. He said he wouldn't support his son becoming a Buddhist. But he still supports
don't know,
him as
man.
an
That's
individual.
very true.
Well, you advocate for Muslim charities.
You wouldn't support it.
You think Muslim charities are a good thing?
Who advocates for Muslim charities?
Do you think Muslim charities are a good thing?
Any charity is a good thing.
You think Muslim charities are a good
Any
thing?
charity is a good thing.
But would a Muslim charity work for Hindus or Jews?
Yeah, a Muslim charity would. I know Muslim charities that work for all different organisations.
What do you mean?
All different people.
So what do you mean? Why are they a Muslim charity then? Why are they not just a charity then?
They are just a charity.
No, but you agreed with the term Muslim charity. I asked you. You didn't question that.
When you say Muslim
Don't try to
charity,
flick it back on me.
Don't
try to flick it back on
When
me.
you're saying Muslim charity,
So what are you saying? Raven's not black enough? Raven's not black enough? Because that's the original subject. Raven's not black enough.
Right, let's go back to the original statement that you made.
About Raven not
Are
being
you
black
going to
enough?
revoke the statement?
No, of course not.
Now, you explained it, but you're supposed to
explained
say
it very
what
well.
you meant by
You're
your
saying I'm
statement.
racist.
I never said you were racist.
Yeah, you did. You said that I've got a problem with black people. As far as you're concerned. That's
said-
what you said.
I said
That's
that
the statement that you made. This recorded.
you have a dedicated bias towards. You seem to be
insulting
practicing.
statements for you to make. So I
Can you finish your
responded.
statement?
So I
Can you
responded
finish
with
your
an insulting
statement, please,
statement back.
And what was that?
Ali
I'm always that insult. I'm always
What did you
insult.
say?
Can he finish his statement, please?
What was the insulting statement back?
Yeah, you insulted me with a statement, so I insulted you with a statement.
So, and what was the insult I gave you again?
Yeah.
What was
You
the-
insult you gave me is that I was racist.
I said that.
I've got a problem with
I said
black
that you were practicing racism, yeah?
You said I've got a problem with black people.
I said the bias, right?
You said I've got a problem with black people. That's
Yep.
what you said.
Well, I'm saying by your actions,
Yeah.
this is how it could be interpreted, right? Which
that's
is,
not what you said.
well, there's black people around. Should we ask them?
Ask them what?
That you're dedicated to infiltrating.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree.
What's the offense?
You have that, bro. You got this aura about you, bro, innit?
Aura about you.
Yeah.
I've got aura about me. Maybe you're receiving
Oh, it's because you're getting quite sensitive.
Yeah, like, it's like black people getting together. Oh man, let me stop that now. Like, so what's going on? What's going on? Like chill,
Being
innit?
a bit sensitive, bro.
Maybe you're just being defensive.
No, because
You've been
your
doing it the whole
opinions,
time.
your opinions won't stop me from benefiting black people collectively, will it?
I'm not trying to stop people benefiting.
No, but even if you were, it wouldn't make any difference.
I'm not trying to do that, so don't try to accuse me of that too.
I'm not.
Oh my days.
You're
being
yeah.
sensitive enough.
I mean, look, you are being extremely sensitive. That's
You're
fine.
accusing me of all sorts right now. You've accused me of not liking black people. That's the first thing. And now you're accusing me of trying to stop black Betterment building. Two false allegations or two false accusations. If you've got any evidence to support your allegations, bring it forth. Bring forth, back your claim with evidence, as they say. You're saying that I've got something
Let's
against
be
black
intelligent,
people.
yeah?
Back your claim
Define
with
what you're
evidence.
trying to do
Back
within
it-
this conversation.
back it with evidence.
No.
So you made a
They
claim.
gotta
back
like
it with
G-Soft
evidence.
right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, it's like,
Back it or retract it. One or the other. Which one?
mate,
Back or retract?
this is almost like
Back it
it's
or
like a
retract
comedy
it.
show, isn't it?
Huh?
Like it's almost like a comedy show.
Yeah, it's like Ali Jihad.
Like-
Ali G.
Yeah, and that's why I don't know if I should. Like I said,
G. That's why it's there.
you,
Ali
it's,
G.
it's like with me,
You're
I
a
try to be
comedian.
constructive in it, but I can be a troll, you know. I can drop jokes and everything,
Drop
innit?
them in it.
Yeah, but then it's like, what would be the
Drop
point?
jokes in it. I'm not stopping you from dropping
Yeah,
jokes.
that's what I'm saying.
Drop some jokes
But
and
then
you
that's
got
it.
some.
I'm trying to
You know what I
do
mean? You're
tangible
looking like
things,
a
and
joke
you
like
come
you
as like a
like.
troll. You come like a troll.
That was straight out of secondary school. You know,
What do you?
man.
What do you
Well,
say?
it's like a playground up there, isn't it? It's like a playground.
No,
up
that
there.
insult
When
was
you
like
said
a secondary
school
school.
jokes out.
Said you look like a joke.
Yeah. So once.
Right,
Yeah,
where were we?
that's it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
King
Yeah.
Raven, fam.
Yeah.
You still haven't explained what you meant by your comment. Though.
Yeah, like,
What was that?
Not being black enough.
yeah, that's
Might not
it.
see
No,
him
I said that he made a comment that was insulting to
Yeah.
me, so I hit him back with an insult.
Okay, so what was your insult?
your
What did you
insult?
mean by your
You
insult?
done know the
That's
insult.
it.
You done
Stand
know
by
the
your
insult.
statement, man.
The same way you
Stand by your
insulted me.
statement.
The same way you insulted me. If you're standing by that insult,
And
I'm
he
standing by
explained,
my insult.
he explained his insult. And you now need to explain yours.
Yes. I don't insult you. You get it already.
You're like you're like that person. You show your hand too quick, right? You're like a person who goes up to someone and goes, well, you know what? I know you don't like me, but I don't like you. And all the other guy has to say is, well, I do like you. And then you just lost everything.
You're the one saying that I don't like black people. I didn't say I don't like you.
Mate, I said by your behavioural practice, yeah, you're showing a bias towards black people doing stuff. That's what I'm saying. A bias that I have not seen you demonstrate in other people. Because I've just told you.
Same thing.
Yeah,
You're
same
always
thing.
on the same line of questioning. Your issue with black people getting together and doing something specific for their own group. Yeah, there is. You always. But you're lying, man. I'm being specific, man. That's it.
I'm lying, did you say?
Yeah.
No. First you're saying
now.
this is doing, now saying man's are lying.
And what? So what?
Back your claims.
Right now, bro.
Just be saying man's are lying and you can't back
What
it. Back your
claims? Bro, do you know what? Yeah, this is the thing, yeah? Certain men are just not honest. Yeah? I'm honest. Like, whatever you want to say about me, I'm honest, fam. Like, you can do what you want to do. We know that this is not the third, fourth, fifth, or seventh time that you've interjected in anyone talking about black issues or on the sideline and had an issue with why is it only black people? Or where, or can this person join? Where, to the point where everyone, well, not everyone, but I've recognized it myself. I've not had this conversation with Raven. Raven now expresses that he recognizes it. I don't know if Issa's seen it.
That's 100%.
So, bro, at the end of the day, fam, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna stand here. I'm not gonna stand here and pretend like and say, oh, give back your claim. And bruv, not everything's a debate. We know this fact. If you want to lie to yourself and say, oh well, I've never done that before, then cool. But if you know you have questioned that on multiple occasions, then just admit it and let's move forward.
Let's get this straight then. So you're saying, because I've come up to you on numerous occasions
And
questioned whether what you lot are upon is only for black people, that means I'm racist.
no one said that. I don't know, man.
That's what he said.
No, you're showing a bias towards black people demonstrating it because he's not witnessed you having that same frequency of questioning other modes, especially not Islamic, women, blah, blah, blah. He said this, we're going round and round in circles. Why are you not absorbing the information? What is the issue?
Could there be another reason? Why I'm coming and asking these questions? Apart from
We're
the
just
fact
telling
that
you
I
what it
might
looks
be
like.
racist.
You should state it. We're just telling you what it looks like, bro.
I would say subconscious anti-blackness.
We're just telling you,
I
yeah.
don't think it's overtly
Subconscious, some form of phobia. Uncle Ty had a name for it, but I can't be bothered to quote that shit.
Let's say for example, I got black kids.
There's a phobia going on.
Say for example, I'm interested because I got black kids.
Okay, that's good then. But then let the black youths do. If you classify them as black youths, then you understand that what we're doing is right up their street.
Exactly.
But you seem to be causing a hindrance. What are you doing?
No.
Young man.
Not at all. I mean, you've not said that I've come.
What are you gaining out of this?
Listen to what I'm saying.
Do you have black kids? Do you have black kids?
You have black kids.
You have black kids. He was saying that he didn't tell him nothing about his family before.
No.
Let's go slow.
Are your kids black?
Let's go slow.
And how did that happen?
Let's go slow.
Are your kids black, brother?
Let's go slow. Let's take things one step at a time.
Nah, man, you're slow. It's too. There's no need for it, man. You said, how do you know that I don't have black kids? So now we're not asking you, do you have black kids? All this just to answer the question.
Let's slow down.
Okay, let's say
You're dragging it out, man.
Let's slow down.
We don't have all night, man. Just do it. Sorry, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me stand there.
What they're upon, and whether it's only for black kids and so forth, that automatically means that I must have something negative to do.
No, you showed that this
This is what this guy said, and you're saying that means there's some kind of bias. And I just told you that it could be a situation that I got black youths. That's why I'm interested. Have you ever thought of that?
What, say that, I missed that part. What is that? What?
Have you ever thought of that he has black youth?
Okay, so what I want to understand, are you a black man? Are you a black man?
I don't consider myself no colour.
Okay, but your kids might be. You want us to consider your kids to be one? No, but which one are you using? You're talking about your children. I can't define your children. You're the one using it. You said, what if I may have black kids? So you define your kids as being black. What do you define yourself as? What do you define? So then I'm now asking, what do you define yourself as? Do you define yourself as separate from them?
I see myself as a man.
Do you,
And I see myself as a man. That's what
see that?
I see myself as.
Why are your children going to be defined as a colour and you're just a man?
Okay, my
You're just a bit.
black man is not black, no.
Okay, cool. So now how have you got black children? How have you got black children?
Didn't you just say that if
No, I'm asking you.
Where did they come from?
Stop, I'm asking you, bruv. You're the one making the claim. Cool. So now you've adopted some black children. Now you've adopted some black children that you prescribe them to be black. What is it you want us to do?
I don't want you to do nothing.
So what is the issue? You're saying, oh, what if I've got black children? Then why would you be hindering something that is designed to help them? But you are. Or you're showing a distaste towards it. You're showing a distaste towards it, and you're always arguing against it. You're always arguing against it, bro. Because I've had a conversation with you.
How do you know I'm not trying to help it?
Well, you ain't helped it yet. You brought this up. You brought this up months ago. You brought this up months ago. You ain't done shit with me. So, from my experience, I don't know. All these hypotheticals. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know I don't have the Eye of Fondera on me, the magical sword from the Castle's Grayskull? How do you know? How do you know? Huh? Huh? Let's play imagining. Let's play imagining. Let's play imagining.
But no one said. Why you keep saying racist?
Everyone's. Who says that?
What you just said what you lot be thinking, obviously. Because you lot be thinking.
Do we all say that? Is that what you're saying?
You said yourself that when it comes to black issues, I seem to be around giving a negative bias.
Yeah, you do.
That's what you keep saying.
You do.
I'm saying to you, that's your opinion. That's how you're thinking.
Yeah, but it's not. I'm not alone in that opinion. But I'm not. Fair enough. But I'm not alone in that opinion. That's cool.
Is you stereotyped?
No, we use
Stereotype. We made an assessment of your behaviour. Independent assessments of your behaviour. 3 independent people have assessed your behaviour and concluded that you seem like you have an issue when the man them get together and do something for what they prescribe to be the black community.
And the irony
How is that stereotyping?
You're still doing it.
Dead that, man. You will make man give bare energy to you, and you're not even about it. You're not even. What? This is just a conversation to you. You don't care. It's just a convo, fam. Otherwise, you would have moved. Fam, you brought this up how long ago? You first brought this issue about the black community getting together how long ago?
I've never brought no issue about the black community.
You've never. You've never.
The only thing I've talked about is gang, whether it's there to help only black people.
Yeah.
Not just gang though. Anything, charity, whatever it's about.
Okay. So are we talking about something different or something? What are you talking about? That's what I'm saying, man. You had an issue.
We might have a speaking difference. We might have a speaking difference.
It's not worth laughing at. It's not worth you lot laughing at his jokes. They don't make no sense when they're not even funny.
No, but bruv, if you want to help, how come you're not coming to talk like me?
Let's talk like men. What is it? What is it? Let's talk like men.
Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about?
Sure to talk like a man.
Well, I don't get it. Who are we talking about? What are we talking about? You talking to me?
He's upset.
What are you saying?
I'm saying to you that if you want to talk about something, as an adult, talk about it.
We've been talking.
How's he been talking?
We've been talking, bro.
Up
It's done
to
to the point where
this point.
we was talking, and to the point where you're not even making sense, bro. So it's like, what's the point?
What I said that don't make sense.
Everything you're saying right now is just hypothetical. What if this? What if that?
And
What
you
if that?
question against
Bro,
it,
I'm
you
saying
don't really
you've
add
spoken
no
to me,
structure,
yeah,
nothing.
about your concerns with services rendered only to the black community. Yeah, you've spoken to me about it. I've heard you, and I've heard you in other conversations, and other people have. There's nothing. A man's not making up no stories about you. This is the sense I get from the way you've been questioning. So that's it. What more do you want me to say? So I'm saying, you're saying, how do I know you don't want to help? I'm saying, if you wanted to help me personally, I'd be aware that you've made some offer of help. You've never offered that. So I don't know.
Let's slow down now, because I think that what's happened is, I think you're being disingenuous.
Thank you.
I think you're being disingenuous, and the reason why is that I haven't really spoken to you.
Okay.
I haven't really spoken to you. Last time I spoke to you, we had an argument. The last time I spoke, we had an argument.
You're the one that said you spoke to me about it. You said to me, you spoke to me about it.
The last time I spoke to you, we had an argument and it nearly went into a fight.
Okay.
And since then, the vibes has never been right.
Have you spoken about it before? Have you spoken about it since?
Since then, the vibes has never
Fair.
been right.
Have you spoken about it since?
About what?
You know.
What's going on there, bro? Are we having the same? I don't know.
You just said what I said to you.
I said, have we spoken? Have you spoken about those same subjects that you had an argument with me about? Have you spoken about them subjects since?
No, not with you.
Not with no one.
Not with you.
Okay, I never said with me.
With anyone we've spoken
I
about.
might spoke to one of my people, but not with you.
Anyway, man, I
Every
don't
time
know,
you're
man.
out
Whatever,
speaking.
man. Cool, man.
Did you
I ain't
have
got
an
a
argument
point. I ain't got a
with
point.
them,
My point was there's no point to this.
No, I mean,
no benefit.
that don't even make sense.
There's no benefit.
Other than the brother here.
Because if you was concerned or wanted to offer help, like I said, I would have been aware of it. So that's the subject. We're just doing all the what ifs. Other people are saying it, you know.
Listen, Listen,
Other
you
people
don't-
are saying
what
it.
you don't understand.
Other people are
You
saying
don't
it.
understand what I'm saying to you. Let me
Have you heard him talk about it more than once?
Let me repeat the statement.
Okay, so Raven has heard
Let me
you.
repeat the statement to you.
Question Raven.
Let me repeat the statement to you. Forget about Raven. Let me repeat the statement to you. Let me repeat the statement to you. Forget about Raven. You don't need to be tag teaming. You can just deal with one individual.
Well, it's
You
dead,
don't have to
man.
start
It's
tag
dead.
teaming.
Bro,
You don't take two of you.
with all
You as
respect,
the
fam,
leader, why don't
whatever
you
you're
come
whatever
through?
you're talking
Why don't
about
you
right
come
now.
through as the leader? Forget about
I'm not a
side
leader.
leader.
I'm not a leader. I'm not a leader. Whatever. I'm not a leader. I'm not a leader. I'm not a leader. I'm just talking to you as an individual partaking in this conversation. You're not dealing with me, bro.
Let me deal with
You're
one
not
guy.
dealing with me.
Let me deal with one guy rather than three. Yeah? So you're saying to me, what's the truth?
But speakers
Yeah, I
corner
know,
though.
but now he's come into
Man.
it. So the point that we're making, the point that I'm making to
Live
you,
stream or something.
the point that I'm making to
Did I
you,
trigger you?
the point that I'm making.
Did I trigger you?
He did
Well,
say
let
With the
he said-
truth.
He did speak
Because
like a
I've
man.
not told no lies. You
Am
seem
I
triggered.
triggered?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you said when you
Bro,
said speak
you've
like a man.
abandoned this whole
How's that
conversation.
triggered?
That was you didn't
How's
mind.
that triggered?
We all formed a little circle for it. You want to zero on me because what? What did I say? The truth.
because I'm
You don't
talking
like
to
the
you.
truth.
I'm talking to
What
you.
is it then, bro? What
Right,
do you
so
want to
the point
say?
I'm making to you, let's trust this go down. The point I'm making to you is that since our last altercation, which nearly led to a fight, we haven't really spoken. And
Yes, my
that's due to the fact, as far as I'm concerned, I've approached you a few occasions and I've sent some bad vibes off you. Like you're upset for some reason or another because of the altercation. That's why I haven't spoken to you.
Okay,
It's
thank
as
you.
straightforward as that. Now, maybe that didn't occur to
Raven,
you.
And this is
Raven,
the first time you've
are
said
you aware of Ali Jihad having this conversation with others other than me?
Yeah.
On more than one occasion.
Anytime I'm talking about Black Betterment building, his brother jumps in. There you go.
Oh, funny. Ha ha ha.
It is actually really funny,
Ha
I
ha
can't
ha.
even lie.
Really funny. Oh, is that your evidence?
Yeah,
Is
today.
that your, is that,
You
is
didn't
that
even
your
let him finish,
impartial
bro.
witness?
Today, yeah.
Is that your
Let him
independent
finish.
witness that you're bringing your friend, your
Well,
British?
it's others here.
Is that your British that you're bringing?
That's a fact,
Come on.
brother.
Come on.
Move on from that now. That's a fact.
Even in the court of law, they'll laugh at you. Even in the court of law, they'll laugh at you.
Ali,
this is my
Yes,
that's
yes,
a
yes.
fact. That's
Call
a
it jihad,
fact. So
call
let's
it
go to the next.
jihad.
All right,
Jihad.
jihad.
Ah,
Hear what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yes,
Now
yes,
that it's
yes.
a fact, yeah.
You are sensitive, man.
What's the simple fact is, yeah,
Yes.
that your behaviour
Yes.
has been
Yes.
that you seem to demonstrate that you have issues with blacks doing for blacks. And what you've just said in regards to help seems to be the angle that we're too primitive to solve our own problems. So Ali's the saviour. Although, because I'm saying you just mentioned about might, be able to help. But I'm saying over all this time, months and months and months, when you keep interrupting, there's never been a suggestion, you know what? I got something, I got a business, I got logistic, whatever you just said. None of that's been there if that was your intention. So we can throw that straight in the garbage because you never mentioned it. With all the talk for how many minutes and hours you talk, you would have once at least slipped. Some Freudian slip of help must have come out your mouth, but it never. But I'm saying there's always this point of somehow trying to undermine and spread it out. We should be helping the world and so on, despite it's clear we're the ones that need to help ourselves the most. And we have the intellect to solve our problems, analyze them, and do what we need to do, as demonstrated by all our intelligent black brothers right here. And Isa the great black intellectual Muslim. I didn't do it for that.
Let me respond to that.
Don't be sensitive, though, bro.
Basically, the situation was this.
Hard to speak when I think, isn't it?
One
It's
second.
like, man, I was like, boy, I have to process that, boy. No, not really. Okay, go.
So basically, the situation is this. I've seen a movement going on in the park, which I'm very impressed with, which I think is an excellent movement, and I think it's a very motivational movement and inspirational movement.
Nation of Islam.
Now, basically, unfortunately, the movement seemed like it was kind of set up around the time when certain members of lead members of the group had altercations with certain Muslims. Now, I was involved in the altercation with Jedi. Now, since then, the vibes hasn't really been right. The reason why I'm trying to make inquiries about whether this movement's only for black people or only for black kids is because I'll rather be involved in a movement that doesn't discriminate against any youths. Do you understand? We'll help any of the youths in London, whether they be black, white or Asian. That's what, one second, let me finish what I'm saying to you. So I'll rather dedicate myself to that. So if the movement that you were doing was for all different youths of all different colours, then definitely it's something that I would like positively contribute
But
to.
you know there's lots of
One
movements,
second, let me finish.
right?
So when I've
You're
come,
talking
one
about
sec,
gang,
one
yes?
sec, let me
You're talking
finish.
about gangs.
Yeah,
So he's talking about
let
gang.
me finish. Let me finish.
We need to be specific
Let
on
me
that.
finish.
So
Let
you're
me
talking about
finish.
gang.
Let me finish. Let me finish. So when you've heard me
Which is for
come,
all different colour
when
youths,
you've heard me come
as
and
they've said.
question,
With the black kids
when
that
you've
you've
heard
got
me come,
and
one sec,
all this time,
one sec,
you ain't
one sec.
found
Why
a
don't you let?
movement to
Why
work
don't you let a man
for
finish?
that
Why don't you let a man
community
finish?
You're worrying about something.
Why don't
oh,
you
the
let a man
leaders,
finish? What's
we
the
had
point?
an altercation. Well, then if that's the case,
One sec,
cool.
one
There's
sec,
many
one
people that you could link up and
Why you
unify
talk?
with.
Don't you know
If
how
you're
to
genuine.
converse like one person talks and another one follows? Are you not aware of that? Instead of jumping on when I'm talking. What are you jumping on for when man's talking?
I apologize.
So the point that I'm making to you is that
Go ahead.
so when you're seeing me come and question in relation
No
to
one's
the
seeing you. That's the point.
that's what
You
that's
don't
what you're
put your face to your statements. No one's seeing you.
You just said
Everyone
that
knows
you're-
who I am. No one don't see you.
What are you talking about? You just said
Then
that
when
you
you're
saw
seeing
me
me,
coming
yeah,
around
but
trying to
that's
question what
like
you're doing.
infactual as well.
If you would have went on the G-Walk, you would have seen the mixture of colours, man. There ain't
That's
a
what
colour
I'm
to
saying.
it. You ain't been on
I think
Gang has
You
never,
criticize gang as much as you
gang
want,
has
bro.
never
Listen,
presented itself
gang and all
as
this
a
stuff.
black
It's a
movement.
waste of time.
Exclusive.
Never,
You're
never.
not actually trying to help.
One second,
You're
one
not trying to
second,
help,
one
and that's
second.
why man's not really taking it seriously. Like I said, it's just convo for you.
One
bro.
African lady said to me, "You got 2 ears and 1 mouth."
Thank you,
yeah.
man.
So listen twice as much as you talk. Let's
is
bring
it
it back to
about
an African
every African lady
proverb.
that
Let's bring it back to an African proverb because you're talking twice as much as you're talking twice as much as you're listening. Let's go back to the African proverbs.
And
Yeah.
that make twice as much
Listen,
sense.
2
Alright,
ears
brother, now you
and 1
know
mouth.
Spinning
It's
yourself.
for
2
any
ears and 1
colour.
mouth. So instead of being negative, instead of being
any
negative,
colour.
instead of being
What is your
negative,
contribution?
instead of
Like,
being
you've
negative-
actually not made any offers to help. You've made no solutions, nothing. You just chat, and it's been for months. And other people are saying they've heard
talked to
you.
you, so what are you talking
Man,
about?
I don't
I've
know,
never
bro.
talked
What
to you, so
for?
we
For
have
the
to say
purpose of
it's
what?
chat.
For the purpose of what?
If I've never spoken to you, how can you say it's just chat? What are you
But
talking
I'm
about?
seeing you. I've heard.
You've heard what?
Bro,
What have you
I've
heard?
never spoken to you before. I've never spoken to you before. But you've heard me speak because you've stood there and listened. So even though like everyone can hear you, you're not speaking to everyone individually. You're pointing me out, but everyone can hear you. So when in the future someone says, "Yeah, you said this, you said that," you can't say you've never spoken to me, bruv. People can hear what you say, fam. So
Yeah,
that's
so
what
what
it
have I
is.
said then? If that's what you're saying, but that
Forget that, man.
makes
This
sense.
is, like I said, personally, Ali, yeah, I reckon that this
You're not making no
conversation
sense.
is actually
You're not
on
making
a
no
real.
sense. You've already drawn your conclusion.
It's not. It's
You've already
pointless.
drawn your
There's
conclusion
nowhere
before man's
to
even
go with this, my
talking. You've
brother.
drawn your conclusion
And if you do
before
have
man's
black
even
kids,
talking.
we
there's
all
many
know that gang,
things that you
basically,
can do
he's trying to say it's
to
for blacks,
facilitate
and you've
something
told
that
him
works
it
for
ain't.
them. Go on,
Yeah,
say,
I
brother.
was just asking, where is it for
It's a
black
mixture,
youth?
man.
That's what I'm trying to say. But initially,
But it wouldn't take you 3-4 months to
can
ask
look
that
at our
question.
page.
One got a page on
One
YouTube.
video would have shown
No,
you
brother,
that.
it
Why are
wouldn't
you
take
not
you
taking it
3-4 months
serious?
to ask them, is it for blacks or not?
yeah, but what I'm saying to you is
Do you
that-
get me?
This is silly.
But
And they've
I've-
answered that
And if I
already,
can't
bro.
take
But I've been
criticism
talking to people
from
3-4
somebody
months, though.
that's
You
watching
don't need to
me,
ask
but
one
won't put your
person
own
about
face
gang.
out there.
There's many brothers of gang, and gang have told you that.
Have you-
That it's not exclusively
No,
black.
but this is not about the black community. This is
Really
about
come low in the
Ali.
ranking. You are
Ali
not
wants
even a
to talk to
benefactor
Jedi
at all.
about-
You don't contribute anything towards gang. So
I'm
you
not
criticizing me
trying-
or studying it for months to see whether this it makes no difference to us. Meanwhile, you got black kids that you should be. Well, if you want to be, you can find many organisations that are catered towards them, bro. Like so. Really and truly, this conversation is null and void. You're not going to change the world. Yeah, just go and put your energy in something that you think is working.
My energy is already in something positive. I
that's
think
it
your
then.
observations are inaccurate.
Thank you.
Your observations are clearly inaccurate. You've got some
And even
kind
if
of-
they are, it
you've got
doesn't
some
change
kind
the
of-
world.
you've got some
Even
kind
if
of
I
a
think
stigma,
wrongly about you,
and you've got
it's not
some
going to
kind of-
change gang.
Say again?
It's not going to change anything.
No one's
Even if
trying
I'm
to
wrong,
change-
if I'm
no
right,
one's
if I'm
trying to
wrong,
change
it
anything
doesn't
in
matter
yourself. I'm trying
because
to
you
say
are
what
not
I'm
making
dealing
any steps towards doing anything.
Who's
Nothing
not?
solution based
Who's
for
not?
me.
Who's not?
You.
I'm
What's
not making-
solution based for me?
For you.
Yeah.
I'm not making no steps to make do anything
Yeah,
positive
you're
for
not.
you.
You're not a
big
benefactor.
man.
You're
I'm
not a
doing
benefactor of
for you.
anything that I'm
You're a
involved
big
in.
man,
So
But how could I be if I don't even talk to you?
exactly. So then why does it matter what you've got to say?
Do you want to talk to
Why does it matter what you got to say then? You're not even making sense.
You're talking about my organisation. You're talking about me. I'm an organisation. You're talking about me. I'm not talking about what you do. I don't know what you do.
You sound upset. You're upset.
I don't know
That's
what
the
you
only
do.
thing I can make that.
You understand what I'm
If that was
saying?
your thing, why
You're
didn't you
talking
just
about
ask
gang.
the question?
You're talking about the leaders of gang. I don't know what your organisation is and what your rank is. So I can't talk about that. That's why I don't know what you do. You ain't showing us nothing. We've asked you. You ain't saying shit. You just said you took a boy football. If you took a boy, then cool, innit? Man's not here to
But you've never
criticise you.
asked me what
Man
I do
applauded
or
you for
what
that.
can I do? You've never
You know what I
asked me
mean?
that, have you?
Man don't want
You've come with criticism.
We can hear you.
What criticism did I come with? What are you talking talking about?
I just said that.
What prison did I come with? What prison did I come with?
Over the time, are you
You're
forgetting?
not making no sense, man. You're not being defensive. You're not being defensive. You're accusing man's of being racist. You've accused man's of being racist.
Who said you're racist? Okay.
This one here. So I
Okay.
say I don't like black people because I come around some black people. I don't like them all of a sudden.
So behaviour.
Oh, listen.
This guy's accused man's of
have to help you. We have to help you. Ali Jihad, yeah?
Get your facts
You
straight, man.
are confused. Ali Jihad, you're confused. You are very confused.
So you didn't say that?
I didn't say
He did. He said.
I said that. I said that.
If I didn't like black people, then you might not even come into the category or qualify or no.
Yeah, insult for insult. Yeah. Insult for insult. That's
So
what
he
I
didn't
would
say
go.
that.
No, he did. He said to me that as far as he's concerned,
I called you
he thinks
racist,
I don't
yeah?
like black people. That's what he said. That was the same thing, isn't it?
What did you say, brother?
That's what he said.
What did you say? What did you say?
I said that by the way you were dedicated to singling out black people, you have like a bias. Yeah, towards black people that you're not showing with women, people, Muslims, people in a wheelchair. Everyone heard me, but the thing is, I think we have a speaking difference.
You know,
so no matter what I tell you, you're gonna hear something
You
else.
interpret that as racism, basically.
What did he say?
That's sum total.
Yeah, what
That
did
you
he
have
say?
a bias towards black people, and you would say
what,
that's
towards or
racism.
against black people?
Towards and against.
Towards or against? Which one is it?
If you have a bias
Which one is
towards,
it?
if you have the bias towards, a bias
Well, let me
makes it
articulate
against.
it better for you, right? I've shown you that there's no other people groups that you're doing the same kind of behaviors towards.
You can't make that comment. You're not all
Not
seen.
here.
And that's why I want you
Not seen
to
by
show me
movements.
the footage where you can. If you show me the footage, then I'll take back statement.
I see
Show
an
me the footage.
organisation that's trying to help youths.
What Muslims?
I'm gonna come.
What about
and
the
talk
Muslim
to them,
ones?
'cause that's what I do
Why don't
too.
you tell the Muslims to help the Christians?
If I see an
Why don't you tell the
One
Muslims
second.
to
If
convert
I see an
the Muslims to
organisation that's
Christians?
trying to help youths, I'm gonna.
Why don't you do
That's
that?
something that I do.
It doesn't make
I'm
no
gonna
sense,
come and
does
see
it?
what they're all about.
Do you tell the Muslims
And
to
I'm
convert
gonna
the
question
people
the
into
ethos of the
Christianity?
organisation.
You wouldn't, would
I'm
you?
gonna come and question the ethos of the organisation.
The thing is,
That's
we have a
what I'm going
speak,
to
brother.
do.
We have a speaking difference.
So you're saying
I'm
that
gonna say
I shouldn't
bananas,
be
you're
able
gonna
to
carrots.
I shouldn't be able to question
You understand
the
it,
ethos
right?
of the organisation.
You know,
What are
we
talking
have a
about?
speaking
I can
difference.
question
So you know about
the
one man
organisation.
speaking after the other. You don't have to compensate like that.
Yeah, cool.
What? The thing is, brother, we have a speaking difference. It's been identified. If I say banana, you're gonna hear carrots, right? You've accused me of calling you a racist. I've never called anyone a
You never
racist.
said that.
You said the same
You
thing
got
3 times.
explain the bias.
Right, so you said that I displayed a negative bias towards black people.
Yeah.
By your actions,
Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
By your
So
actions.
that's what you're saying. As far as I'm concerned, it kind of sounds like it's a bit of a racist.
Yeah, but that's because we have a speaking difference.
You're
Because
being negative towards black people. That's what you're saying.
Could that be summed up as being racist?
I mean, that's kind
That's
of
why I like to
racist, isn't
spot.
it?
That's
Someone
why
being
sometimes
negative towards black
it's good
people,
to
that's
spit
racist, isn't it?
straight as hell.
No,
You say you're subconscious, anti-black. There's no question you could have meant. That's why sometimes, brother. I'm not saying beat around the bush. I'm just
Stop
saying.
beating around the bush.
No, he
Be
isn't.
honest
He
what you
isn't.
said.
He
Be
has a
honest
way
what
of
you said.
speaking that's non-confrontational a lot of the time, which does, in some instances,
that was
work.
quite clear,
But
though.
when, brother, listen. If you sum that up to me, that means racist in his head.
Well, so he's saying that I've got a negative bias towards black people. That's what he's saying. Yeah?
A bias.
That's what you're saying.
Because your behaviour is to come
Yeah, but I'm saying to you
and
that
try
my
and undermine
behaviour-
black
my-
unity.
No, my behaviour when I'm coming to you, lot, talking to you lot about what you're doing, it's not because I'm trying to undermine
It's
it.
not just questions. You say things
Like
and you
what?
comment.
What have I said?
Discrimination,
Brother,
racist.
brother, you've argued with us.
Look,
You've
I-
argued with Issa
I've
and
never
other
argued
brothers
with nothing.
on black
I ain't
empowerment.
argued with nothing, to be
Huh?
honest. I haven't argued about nothing.
Well, like I
With
said,
me?
Yeah.
Bruv, don't say that. Did we not argue about certain other things over there?
No, it's not religion.
Yeah.
It's talk. We've never argued. We've never argued.
Oh, you
It's
forget.
talk.
All right.
We've never-
So I'm going to conclude by saying we clearly have a speaking difference. So no matter what I say,
English. I don't know what you're speaking.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
well,
I'm speaking English.
All
Like I
right.
said,
Is this going to benefit?
And to be
Because
honest
this
with
is
you,
going around in
your
circles.
allegations that I've got a negative bias towards black people are false.
okay.
And your allegations that I'm trying to, like,
You might need to change your actions.
Yeah.
I've never met you before, and we started a conversation, and everything that you had to say wasn't to do with helping.
no, but
It was
that's,
to
that's,
do
not the
with-
subject of, that's not the subject of the day. We weren't talking
That
about
was
that.
what
We
we
were
were
Do
talking
you
about
think
the
black
comment.
people should do
You
for
spoke-
self and
you
no one else?
spoke- You spoke about a
He's always
comment you
getting-
left.
Do you think black people should only have black people within a movement that's helping black
I've
people?
said to him that I understand.
I'm asking you.
I said to him that any organisation that's trying to help their own people,
Yeah.
I understand the sense in it.
Okay.
I do. I said I agree with that.
Thank you, yeah.
But I also said to you that's not the ideology that I would follow. I said because I've seen youths around me with blonde afros and ginger afros.
They can
I
join.
think that because
They can join, but you can't.
I said that.
I told you, they can join, but you
join
can't.
what?
Yeah.
Join what? Join
Yeah.
what?
Well, remember,
Join
Here's-
what?
here's
Join
the-
what?
They
I
could
don't
join
want to
gang.
join your group.
Did I
don't
approach
want
you?
to join your group.
But
Stop
you
flattering
wouldn't be
yourself.
welcome. But you
Stop
wouldn't
flattering
welcome.
yourself. No one's
You
trying to
wouldn't
join your group.
But don't-
Well,
you
we
I
wouldn't
might
might
welcome.
buy you out
again,
maybe
man.
one day,
You wouldn't
but I don't want
welcome.
to join you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is,
You're going to buy out?
But you just
I
said
was
you
talking to you.
understand
I
it.
was
You
talking
just
to
said
him.
you
I
just
don't
said
know
you
what
understand it.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to say you don't want to join it. But if it's only
I don't want
blacks,
to join it. Who said
if
I
it's
wanna
only
join
for
it?
blacks,
I don't
why
want
would
to
you
join
want
it.
to?
So why is he saying
Everyone
that?
must blacks to do for blacks.
You're asking the same question over and over again.
No,
I don't
hold
have
on.
no problem
Right.
with any communities trying to help their own community. I don't have no problem with that.
Okay, go
Whether
on.
that be Jews, Muslims, browns, blacks, I have no problem with that. Yeah?
Right.
The reason why you see me question gang in relation to what their ethos is because I want to know whether it's only to help black kids or whether it's to help all kids.
And it took 4 months.
1 second. As far as I'm concerned,
ask that simple question.
When gang first started, it almost they didn't have that many other people but half of black people in it at the start.
It doesn't matter who was there. It doesn't matter.
From the
It's
outside,
not their mouth.
man,
It's what they said.
From the outside,
I've really identified that this gentleman has a speaking difference. No matter what we say, he's going to hear what he wants.
No. He just
We
said
have
at the beginning.
we have the masses of
he's
black people
explaining.
telling one thing, and he doesn't care.
No, but he said at first, it looked like a black thing because it was only black people.
Yes.
Fine.
Exactly.
But I'm saying it
Right.
doesn't take 4 to 5 months for you to just ask a simple question
Later on,
and even look and realise, not later on, they've always said that.
No, they haven't.
Bruv, I'm telling you, because I was on the thing of it's black. And man saying, well, for the youth, them,
Later on, started getting more
no,
mixed.
I'm
Later
telling
on.
you, brother, the
Later
first
on,
thing,
it started getting
one
more
of them
mixed.
came over to me, interrupted my
look at the
brother.
thing, innit? Look at
One
the
of the
thing,
gang
innit?
members came over when I'm talking to another gang member, saying, no, it's not about that black thing. This is for all the youths. I was like, all right, bruv, cool. You get me? So I'm saying that's what they told me when I was talking to another member of gang. So I've known the thing always for all kind of youths, because they keep saying, the youth them are all intermixing and the gangs are full of different
That's what I'm
colours.
saying too.
Although I say, and a lot of them agree with me, it is upon a black culture, a negative anti-black culture that the others are bought into and follow. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's how. But all right, so you've established. But you recognise. Nah, that must be. No, but hear what I'm saying. Now that you know, no, forget that. So now that you know,
Ali Jiso.
Hold on, Ali. Now that you know, it's for all colour youths. Do you agree that you won't need to interrupt and try and undermine any pro-black discussions and movements?
Sorry, what's your question?
Right, let me say it again.
Come again.
Now that
Now
it's been established, right. Now that we've established and you've heard, and no gang member here has contradicted me when they are saying and when I'm saying gang is for all different colour youths. They're not interested, it's not about the colour, they want the youths them to stop killing each other, stabbing each other and so on. Yes? That's been made very clear today. Do you agree or not? Do you agree that's clear?
Sorry, say that again?
Do you? Right. Today in this conversation, it is very clear. Is it or is it not?
Yes,
that
it is
gang
clear.
are brilliant. So
Right.
therefore, when it comes to gang, that is a movement for all coloured youths.
Okay.
However, our brother here, he has his own thing, which is exclusively for blacks. So do you have any other issues? Because we're talking about gang, so you agree that gang is a brilliant thing for all colour youths.
I agree that it's a good thing that's for all the youths. I agree with that. But that's something different from what he's doing. That's something different from what he's doing. His thing's different.
But his thing's not gang.
Yeah, I know it's not. But that's what I'm saying. You're conflating the issues because we were having a separate discussion before he
You were
came
talking
along.
about gangs.
Before he came, no. When we started, you're conflating the issues. It wasn't exclusively about gang. That was
No,
we
that's
weren't
fine.
talking about
That's
gang
fine.
at all, actually.
That's fine.
We weren't
But
talking
you
about
brought
at
up
all.
gang.
The only reason
You
gang came
explained.
up. The only reason gang came up was because we were speaking about the police and cops and the ops. You understand? That's why gang came up. So let's not act like me and him were standing there talking about
So
gang.
gang.
That
So
wasn't
the
case.
gang issue's sorted now, because you've said when you first saw gang, you
Is it
thought
cops
was
to the
black and
ops?
so on.
Is it gang that say cops to the ops though?
Yeah,
When you're talking about man running around talking about cops to the ops, is it gang?
Yeah,
You're
it
talking
is.
about.
It's
Okay,
gang
so it
that
ain't
say
us that said gang. It's you that's inferring gang.
No, I'm saying to you, that's how the conversation went from one subject to another. But
Was the
it's what I'm saying to
topic
you.
cops to the ops?
That's how the conversation
Oh, it
changed.
changed,
From
okay,
Raven,
okay.
do you remember
to
the
understand
subject
the point
matter?
I'm
Okay,
making.
yeah.
Stop getting all defensive. No one's trying to attack you. No one's trying to attack you.
The reason why we're here is you approached us on
relax,
the two
brother.
Muslim
Relax,
sisters.
stop thinking you're under attack. You're not under attack.
No one thinks
You're
that,
not under
bro.
attack.
Please,
You're acting like you're
please.
Would you like me to do like a back catalogue of why we're here today?
Rat Raven, can you please tell me
Don't
what
add
the conversation
telepathy
was
to the
like?
repertoire. You can't read my
So let people know why we're here.
No. I don't. What are you talking about? Why are you here today? Why are you here today? It's got nothing to do. Nothing to talk about your black Betterment.
I'll just forget it.
About his black what? About his black what? What No, what did he say?
Don't talk about it. I don't want to hear about it.
About his black what?
One voice.
You don't want to hear about black Betterment?
That's what he just said.
You just said you don't want to hear about
I don't want to hear about that.
What about your black children?
Hold on.
I don't want to hear about that.
I thought you said it was a good thing. I thought you said it was a good thing.
Family, there's
Yeah, but it's
confusion.
not something that I'm
This
involved in,
is
so I don't want to hear about
confusion.
it.
You don't want to hear about the black youths and their
I don't
betterment.
want to hear about black Betterment building. We're not talking about I'm involved in. I want to discuss it.
No, but we're not
Are
talking
you
about that.
serious?
Me discussion with you about black Betterment.
You have black children.
As you said
No, but we're not
yourself.
talking about that, are we? We're saying the reason why you're here today, you're talking because I was talking to two Muslim ladies about Black Betterment, and you came and you asked me a question. You said you made a comment on YouTube, and my comment was that if you haven't helped your own community, how are you going to help our community, right? So it's asking what he's done for his community, and if he's done nothing, how is he going to help our community? And then you start saying my community is London and the world and the universe. So that's
No, I didn't say the London, the world, and the universe. You're misquoting me again.
Well, what did you say? Just because I was
I said my community is my local community in London. As far as I'm concerned, London is my community.
Alright.
I never said nothing about the world.
okay.
So stop making things
Okay.
up.
All right.
Stop making things up to
I
try to
was
make me look
practicing
bad.
deception then. Okay,
That's
cool.
called being what? Disingenuous.
Yes, I was practicing
Ain't it?
deception. So let's backtrack and London,
So
right?
stop being disingenuous.
Right. I was wrong. You were right. Now shall we continue?
Long
What do you talk about? What do you talk about? What do you
Say that along what?
A long conversation and shit.
I think, me personally, you have a speaking difference, and anytime I see people who are identified or identify as black, there seems to be similar confusion. I think there's something going on in your brain computer that makes you interpret words as directly against you or something you stand for. Yeah, and that's why there is nothing fruitful from our conversation.
And I'll say,
He's
I'll
overtly
say the same thing about you.
He said I don't want to hear
I'll say the same
about
thing about
black
you.
betterment.
Now, do you want to talk about something
I don't know
positive,
what the
or do
hell
you just
kind
wanna
of
come with
Muslim
your
would
false
say.
allegation
I don't want to
or
hear
your
about
false
black
accusation?
betterment. So, well, I do know what kind of Muslim, but people don't want me to say. You'll know what I'm talking about. SSME. I won't say this. No, I mean, no, because I had a agreement with some brothers, Rasbacks and shit. But you know what I'm talking about.
You're
You're the child period.
No,
You're the child period.
You
To see
could
how
be
long.
Rasback asked me in McDonald's, he sat in
One
chat.
time.
So I was like,
You can be part of the community, but you're the one who's pushing yourself away. Yeah. Rather than like stand from the sidelines, you could be in front doing stuff, innit? But you're not part of that. You're not part of the mandem.
I'm doing stuff.
You're not part of the mandem.
I'm doing
innit?
stuff.
Well, I'm saying you're not part of the mandem. innit?
I'm not part of what?
The mandem. You're not
What
part of
mandem? What mandem?
This mandem. You're not part of it.
I'm not part of it. I've got my own mandem.
That's
Thank you
good.
very much.
Oh, well,
I never came there to be part of the mandem.
Exactly.
Get me?
But then
What
why
did you come here
talk to
for?
us? Why you talk to us about
What's
what
your-
I come up here because I saw you push the Somali on you, and I wanted to come down here to make sure no one ain't no Muslims.
That's
That's
what you
why.
got. And now
That's why I come up here.
you've been successful.
Originally,
Have you been
Originally,
successful?
That's why I come up here.
Okay.
But now everything's calmed down. I'm thinking I might as well spend my time doing something constructive.
Like,
Like trying to build with other
Like
people.
disrespecting
Like
black
what?
betterment.
Would you come and
when did that change, mate? You
Come on.
when did you
Ask me a
change?
question and I'll answer it. You're gonna ask a question.
When did you change from that?
So I'm thinking while I'm standing around looking after my brothers, I might as well do something constructive while I'm up here. And the only other
Look, we've got a gang member here that's a Somali.
Say what?
Yeah, look, there's a Somali gang member here.
Yeah.
There's another Muslim member here. So there was nothing against Muslims. They just had an altercation themselves.
No, at that time they did.
Huh? No, they had an altercation
no,
between
no.
themselves. There was no
because they
Muslim
were
beef.
aligned with Sarah
no-
and them, man.
There was no Muslim beef.
One second, let's stop.
Aligned?
Let's
Who was
stop,
aligned?
Let's stop.
Who was aligned with Sarah?
Yeah, we saying about the
Who was
Sarah.
aligned
One
with
second,
Sarah?
let me
You're making
respond
your own
to you,
story up,
yeah, because
bro.
maybe I don't know if you're aware of the history, yeah? There were some other guys here, Sarah and some other guys that were dissing the Quran and they were dissing the Muslims, yeah? So what happened is, them man that was saying F Allah, F the Quran and all that kind of stuff there, and calling the Prophet ﷺ the P word, them man originally, Respect, and also him I think, definitely Respect, initially came down to back them man.
Okay.
Them man that were dissing Islam, they came down to back them man.
Back then from what? Like, from what? They
Back them,
what
back
were they
them.
back
Did he know that
And
though?
they have their man back.
From no one hurting them, innit?
Have their backs.
They didn't come and
Sarah
what
came
I'm saying
to
is,
we.
none of them
Respect
came
came
and
to
started
have
saying,
Sarah's back.
None of them came and made the same claim as what Sarah was
and,
making,
and,
did they?
No,
and
but
back
they
up
came to
what
back
Sarah's on, yeah?
So what they did, they saw a fellow black individual.
So he wanted to bring
and they
black
thought that he was a
betterment.
threat of
He wanted
violence,
to bring
and they
peace
came
to
and
the
helped
issue.
him.
What's wrong with that?
Listen to what I'm saying to you.
Black betterment.
Go on, I'm listening to you, go on.
These lot were backing the guys that were trying to oppress Islam. Yeah? That's
Oppress
what they
Islam?
No way, no way.
No
way.
Let me
We're being Muslim.
We've identified you have a speaking difference and you're constantly demonstrating.
Listen to what I'm saying.
There's no value to what you're saying.
I don't even understand what you
There's
mean
no
by
value.
that. What do you explain speaking
So,
difference?
basically, we're using one word and he's interpreting something else.
Why is man acting like they don't know about the
That's the
history?
interpretation of
Don't act like you
comprehension.
don't know about the history. Don't act like you don't know about the
Deficiency,
history.
not difference.
Listen, there's a difference.
Don't act like you
His
don't know
story,
about
his
the
story, not our story.
history. Don't act like you don't know about the history.
Not our
What you're
story.
saying, come and help another black brother, yeah, because they thought there was a threat of violence. They didn't come and condone what he said. Yeah, they didn't come and say we believe what you said.
I came down nothing to do with Sarah, nothing at all. So not on my name, yeah. One person you're talking about. Respect one person. So, I didn't know respect before he came down. I didn't know respect before he came down.
You can't take the action of one individual, brother, yeah, and label the whole group from that one individual's action.
We're telling you it's not true. That's not true.
I wanted to.
When I see a brother violate my,
but brother, since then, what have they done?
Someone violate my Somali brother, I came down for that.
Why is he your brother? Why is he your brother?
Did you pull up your brother?
Why is he Somali? Why is he your brother?
That's why I came down.
Why is he your brother?
He violated my Muslim brother.
What? Because he's Muslim?
Yeah.
So if he thinks like a terrorist, he's still your brother?
If he's Muslim, yeah, I'm not judging him on anything.
So even if he thinks like a terrorist and he promotes terrorism?
I didn't ask
Okay.
I just see someone push a Somali Muslim, and I said, I'm not standing around and having that, I'm coming down.
So the Muslims that were there, one of them said, this is where it's leading.
I doubt they have the agenda. See the agenda what you're talking about? None of the brothers here have the agenda, man. See the agenda you think that they have? Okay, but has that been clarified? Has that been clarified?
I wanted to talk to Rat Raven.
I wasn't here. I don't come to the part regular. What I'm saying, has that been clarified? No, I seen that on the YouTube though. Has that been clarified though? But I'm saying, who was violating? None of these might violate Muslims. None of these lot might violate Muslims. We saw the push, man. Look, it's not. So a push. Come on, brother.
Excuse me.
I told the man pushing back, innit? Brother, there were so many Somalis around him. You're going on like, brother, you thought that was a big deal. The Somalis around him didn't think it was a big deal. They didn't make a fight. Everyone calmed the situation down. What I'm saying is, what you would like to. So let me ask you a question, brother. Let me ask you a question. So you come down to aggravate the situation more. Is that what it is? Yeah, is that what it is, brother? Is that what it is? That you came down to escalate it more, or what is it? That's what I want to know. Did you come to escalate it more, or what? Because there was no big, you know the way you think it was. There was no big drama like that.
Afterwards.
Yeah, they settled it straight away.
Afterwards.
Was you there that day?
I come down to escalate it more. What I did is I came down.
He wasn't there. Of course he wasn't
Was you there?
no.
Was you there that day?
I wasn't there. I saw it on
Yeah, so what I'm saying is you only see certain parts, brother. They probably dealt with it there and then.
I'll tell you what happened after, didn't it?
Go on.
I'll tell you what happened after. So it wasn't only me, you know, other Muslims
Yeah.
saw it on YouTube too.
Yeah.
Certain Muslims came down, and our sole purpose was just to make sure that nobody violates the Muslims.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Not to
No,
start
that's
nothing,
that's
not to
cool.
start
That's
nothing.
cool. Yeah, that's
So
cool.
there's bare Muslims.
Yeah, that's cool.
One individual that
Yeah,
does
that's
that.
cool. That's cool. No one said there's a problem with that. What I'm saying is don't get it twisted. These lot are not against Muslims. That's what I'm saying. They're not against. Yeah.
We keep on speaking.
Okay.
I'm just speaking. But it's comprehension.
But does that mean he's against Muslims? Or does that mean he's got an argument with you? That's what it means, isn't it, brother? If someone has an argument with you, that's a personal thing, isn't it? It's not to do with the religion, isn't it? Come on.
Understanding problems.
Okay.
You're watching me.
I didn't say I come down for you.
I thought you were talking about me.
I come down for anyone who's violating Muslims.
Bro, I'm doing the same thing, don't worry. But if I see
So you
someone
don't like
violating
the
Muslims,
fact
I'm there, bro.
he wants to make the situation of black Muslims better. That's very interesting. But he wanted to come and defend a black Somali Muslim. He's here for black betterment, and that Somali is black.
There you go.
But you said you don't care about black people. So you actually lied when you say you come for that reason.
In your words, because you said that I'm racist and I don't like black people, and then
No, but you're proving that's wrong.
You said you don't want to hear
You just dismissed
I said
black
you have a
betterment.
speaking difference. The claim I made is me and you have a speaking difference.
I'm
So I'm going to say
speaking
banana,
English.
you're going to hear
I'm
character.
speaking English.
Comprehension and understanding the
That's
vision
what I'm saying.
is what he.
What are you saying?
I say you
What
say.
exactly are you saying?
I'm saying that me and you have a speaking difference, right? And you
Apart from that, what you
your
say?
emotions seem to take over.
Him and any pro-black person seems to have
Your
a
emotions seem to take over.
difference, you say, bro.
It's very tragic. It's very tragic.
Okay. Can I deal with the issue? I wanted to talk to Brother Rat Raven about certain.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Okay, well, that's one person.
Have you noticed though? He's got issues now. He ain't got issues with gang anymore. With everyone. With his black. Ooh. I don't want to hear it. We should say it.
Gang's not about colour.
No, but it's not about gang. I'm saying the brother's still got his thing. Yeah? His is black betterment, specific. Yeah? But I'm saying he don't have an issue with gang anymore.
Can't put someone else's outside if
I've
yours
never
is
had no issue with gang. I've never had no issue with gang. I've never had no issue with
Anyway, can I bring up a subject to you? Okay. The issue I have with my brother Rat Raven
No, you're not. I'm just saying.
is this term white supremacy. It's a different okay? It comes from America, generally, and it relates to our black brothers and sisters in America and their experience of a specific anti-black culture in relation to clear-cut white, oppression, right? Now, I'm saying for us to take it on, particularly us in the UK, and for even those in America now in 2018 and so on, is problematic because it does not call to our mind that there are many others, as demonstrated by him and many others, that are against us. So we automatically think white. But we don't realise that there are people, I think Afghani, right? And I'll say Sunni, but you know what I mean? For the Sunni brothers that are cool, you're cool, and the Sunni brothers in the gang, you're cool, right? But in general, the Pakistani Sunnis, the Bangladeshis, the various others who have a vehement hate for us in their culture. So in other words, we're back home. They would treat us much worse than the white people, even in America. So I suggest, if you can, please stop using the term white supremacy. You had Hinduism. Hinduism been there for 2,000 years. You've not been hating black skins. So you can't.
We hate our own skin, bro. There's people back home trying to look white.
I agree. That's my whole point. So imagine how you see us. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm saying, please, can you promote the term instead of white supremacy, because it distracts us from those other people, anti-black, which allows us to be thinking of all different types of people who are within themselves, their very language, their culture, their history, and I mean proper anti-black. You get me? We're in, for instance, a marriage thing, or even whatever. Bro, they have this thing for him. What I'm saying is, there's many white people in this country, parents, whose daughter had a black boyfriend. They had an issue with it. Then the youth come along, all of a sudden they soften up, then another 5 mixed race youths, and the grandparents are now loving off them youths. They're no longer, let's say, overtly racist. But I'm saying what I've seen amongst Pakistanis, Bangladeshis and so on, is you're disowned. You not call our kids and and whatever else. If they didn't put the girl in a suitcase and whatever else and chop up.
The truth is, bro.
What I'm saying is, I deal with the psychology.
Do you blame them for sticking to their own?
Wait.
They have their own thing, you know.
I'm saying, listen what he, stop. He said stick to their own. Stick to their own, beautiful. Listen to what he said. No, see, he says he's a Muslim. He says he's a Muslim, and Islam is totally 100%.
Are you not for black people sticking to black and marrying black?
Right. This is what I said. This is what I said about the deceit.
I am for Pakistanis marrying Pakistanis.
This is what I said about the deceit of Sunnis.
I don't know what he's on, bro.
You understand? So what I'm saying to you is, what I'm saying to you is, the term white supremacy. I'm glad he said what he said. Anyway,
it's a norm.
So he's down. He's down with the suitcase.
Parent wants their kids to marry someone like them, innit, bro? They don't want to marry.
He's down with the what?
He's down. I said that some of their girls end up in the suitcase, and that's when he come in and start to justify it. But anyway, as I'm saying, huh? Have you not heard him chop up their girls?
Nah, bro, what are you doing, though? What are you doing, bro? What's your point, bro?
Let me say it again. The term you use, is white supremacy. No, it's not that at all. It's
but I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying about the white supremacy.
I do not want anyone to try and misconstrue this. I'm saying for instance, all right, Tan, here, blooming Muslim, the Chinese people going into our land, our motherland. You think they're coming in there to benefit us? No, they're bloody well in. So when we're watching them blasted Bruce Lee movie, or them blasted foolish Jackie Chan movie, and softening your backside up to Chinese people, let them. Anyway, let me not cuss. Let them jump.
White supremacy is a thing.
Listen to what I'm saying.
It's a thing, right?
Brother.
It's a thing. So if you don't
want
to use it, we will use white supremacy where it needs to be used. But if you want to say anti-black sentiment,
listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying the harmfulness. Right. The deficiency within the thinking of our people when you say it relates to an old stage. I'm saying our battle now, for before, you didn't really have all these other people coming into our landmass. Right. I'm saying now we've got attacks from all others on a global scale.
So you're saying when we speak, can we use the term
anti-black, and then put in all the different colours?
Even with the Chinese?
Chinese, Korean, Japanese, every niche.
You mean like
You see how wicked Jedi is? Jedi wicked.
Back up your words now. Back up your words.
No offense.
Tell her how anti-black she is.
No, listen. You mean I give to hell. I care about my black people then. So no offense to you. But if you're I don't know where you're from,
Let her speak, innit?
I'm saying wherever, no, I'm talking. Wherever I found the culture of the Chinese people has been anti-black. So as long as there's a dominancy amongst your culture of anti-blackism, you will take the damn label as anti-black from me and any brothers that are empowered into resurrecting our people and producing black betterment. There you go.
Do you feel that what he said is right about your country or anything? What he was saying?
Do you think a lot of Chinese people are racist?
The culture. Sorry.
You're showing on YouTube. They will kill me.
Now we got your back, man. Touch what? Gang.
You see that? When East of the great black intellectual Muslim speaks, Allah sends them to confirm what I'm saying. You heard me. Thank you very much. Anyway, so I'm saying, then you got Chinese over here. So that's Tan's enemy. She just knocked Tan straight out of the goddamn planet. So now we had Pakistani behind me, and he confirmed stick to your own. So I'm saying to you, black people ain't got no friends on this planet. I'm telling you, listen, I'm saying racially, as a whole race, groups. In other words, I'm talking about Pakistanis as a whole. In other words, you couldn't go to Pakistan. I am black.
Yeah, what you saying though?
Brother, he can talk what the hell he wants.
Come on, man.
He can come over here if he wants to.
Nah, man, but it's the same thing, man.
Really? One time. Right, so as I was saying, the term on the psyche. Because I've seen how when people talk, when I'm discussing, and they talk white supremacy, they clear cut are not thinking on the various other levels. In other words, they be thinking, well, the brown people are our brethren. Forgetting that the brown people, they'll be your brethren when you got the same enemy. As soon as they could jump off that train and do for themselves, like, see you black man.
So I practice black betterment building, right? Which is black people working with black people to find solutions for black issues, right? So because of that narrative,
you must have some shitty Asian friends out there.
Because of that narrative, it doesn't matter about any other people groups, because the solution we're looking for is going to come from the group that's identified, right? So black people come together to work on black issues. Yes. So I don't need to talk about Chinese, Japanese, or any kind of needs, because the solution is going to come from within. Yeah.
Brother, do the people have to interact with these other people? If you're on an island and there's only black people, that sounds good. But I'm saying hear what I'm saying. For instance,
if you're talking about trade, you're talking about brethren and playing video games, so be it. I'm talking about coming together to work on actual solutions.
For instance,
that's a different thing.
For instance, if you have Muslims, let's say in your group, which you have,
which we do,
they can be influenced via the seat that they have, that these other people are their brothers.
The main camera's got this still.
Right? And I'm saying...
What you doing? You good, fam? You're just chilling with the Jake then, yeah?
I'm here, be comfy.
Yeah. What you looking for applications? Yeah, application forms. No way. I ain't mean do that, fam. You tell a man to arrest people, yeah?
I'm joking, man.
I don't do like that. Chill. Live stream, man. Told man to put man in handcuffs, fam. You crazy, fam. We don't work with police, fam. Hey, get off me, bro. What are you talking about, E? What are you talking about?
I'm not bothering, I'm telling you.
The question is, would you search my...
Look at that, look at that, put the camera.
Right, man. Hey, get your hands off the camera, fam. Hey, fam, I'm going to tap man up, you know, bro.
Don't say that, there's been
and say it's reasonable
I'll top up the
that
feds
you're
too,
looking
man.
at this one item
So he's a bad man, fam.
in my
Hey,
possession
get out of here, man.
that it might have
satanic symbol, bro.
What's he doing, bro?
You would take one item. What would the right circumstances?
One.
What are the... No, it's not hypothetical. I'm explaining to you. This is not hypothetical. This is the situation. I was stopped by the gun police. Out of everything in my possession, they chose to take my ID to see if there was gun-related paraphernalia on the ID. Is that out of everything in my possession? Why would you choose to go within my wallet and take the ID?
He's not going to answer, bro.
I don't know.
I don't know why the officer did that. I'm not asking why. I'm asking would you do that? I'm asking would you do that?
I might do. Yeah.
Why?
Please to the police.
But I've explained the situation.
There are too many.
There's no variables. There's no variables. I had no gun. I had no gun.
But it depends on why we
had no gun.
If you were not there, right?
I had no gun.
We were not there.
Were we there? The situation, I had no gun, and the one item you chose that you said the only thing you would be able to find on that item is gunpowder, but you didn't take the item away for any testing.
So why did you take that one specific item?
I can't say.
I can't answer for
But
that.
you know what I'm saying? See, this is a good question. So you know, do you know within your heart that
I'll
you're
give you
in
an
the wrong?
example of how it could have been. When people
How
get-
how
No,
can
no,
you
no, no,
listen?
no,
The question is,
So you're going to talk over me?
I'm gonna talk over you. Yes.
What's the
How
point?
are you going to?
That's pointless then.
How are you going to search an item for gunpowder
That's not
without
what-
taking the item away?
That didn't happen, did it?
What didn't happen?
I was just going to say, quite often people get searched, we list what people have on them, so you can't, mistakes can't get made later.
No.
Let's say someone can't get.
They didn't list. They didn't do that. I wasn't arrested. This was just at the side of the.
So you were arrested.
This was at the side of the street. So there was, when you conduct a normal stop and search, do you list everything that is on the person?
Not necessarily.
Not
but
necessarily.
If you searched the cops and they had a load of money on them and that wasn't what you were looking for, then you would list it. Say, if you had £50 notes, you would note that down. So someone would say, well, yeah, I had 10 £50 notes and there wasn't. You would note something like that.
But I could hold a grand on me without question.
You found a grand, you'd note that down.
But I can hold up to a grand on me
Alright,
without
whatever,
having to provide a receipt of where I got that grand from.
Yeah.
So why you noting if I got £500?
Yeah, you'd write that down.
But why? Are you now trying to fabricate evidence?
No, precisely the opposite.
So you're not arresting me. You're stop and searching me on the side of the road, but you're deciding to record specific items in my pocket. For what reason?
To protect
To protect who?
Everyone.
To protect everyone. £500 going to cause people damage.
No, you might say that you had 1,000 when we've stolen it.
Listen, if I had £1,000 in my pocket and you recorded 500 and I say I had 1,000 and you say it's been recorded, no, you said you write it down to protect me in case you stole the money from me. That's what you said.
No, I'd write down whatever amount you had, whatever.
But why are you writing down an amount of money that I'm allowed to have?
We didn't think. This is pointless.
No, I'm asking you a question. Why are you writing down an amount of money that I'm allowed to have?
They took one of my phones, they never gave it back. It's not worth that now, but at the time it was worth.
You see what else is happening. You know, the Modine. You know the bike go past, I don't want to get run over. You see what Modine is talking about.
I don't. No, I probably said thingy. Like, you know the situation.
Surah Al-Hajj.
That's not the Quran. That's not the Quran.
Surah Al-Hajj.
No, it's not.
Surah Al-Hajj.
Surah Al-Hajj. There's no Surah Al-Hajj.
We're talking about Islam. Let's see what Soko's at. Soko got the light over there.
You said he's good, yeah?
Live stream. Live stream too, yeah. That's what they're talking about over there.
In human form, that's what
You
you're
got
missing.
nothing.
That's what, no. You don't trick me like that.
The Christian
In human
answer.
form. You don't trick me like that. I answered you in human form. Yes, and the yes, and he was, and the humanity died. You don't and the humanity died.
One God. Which part of you Jesus God?
Let me ask you, right? Let me ask you. Let me ask you this question.
Not ask me which part of Jesus God.
No, you don't dictate. You don't
Christians
dictate.
again.
You don't
They will
dictate.
never answer question.
like to dictate.
All
You don't
Christians
dictate.
don't ever say Shamsi right away. Shamsi. All the Christians, they will never answer. Jesus, which part of Jesus was God?
You don't can answer now.
Yeah, can answer.
Right, okay, right. Let me answer. Right, let me give you some teaching now. Right. Let me ask you first. You know when you
Look at yourself.
Right,
Which is part of God?
Let him speak, Shams.
Jesus God.
Be nice.
Can understand it.
Can I answer that?
Word of God.
Can I answer that?
Can
I answer that? Right,
please, God.
Right, okay.
Can you answer that? Watch.
No. I'm going to answer this way. Let me answer my way, yeah? Yeah, okay, right. You know, as you as a human being, yeah, or human beings, when we die, yeah, your body dies. what happens to your spirit? Does your
spirit
is your
goes to
dead?
different life.
Exactly. Right. So that's what happened with Jesus. So this Jesus that you're talking
So
about.
spirit of Jesus
Now
God.
let me answer. Now this Jesus that you keep talking about, when you say God died, that's foolishness. That's foolishness.
So my spirit is God as well.
No,
According to you, my spirit never died.
You can't
listening.
He can't
They just
afford.
want a sound
Yeah,
bite.
he
He
can't.
doesn't
Yeah,
want
no,
to hear
he
it.
can't afford.
No,
Right.
no,
Okay.
it's all right.
Right. So likewise, when Jesus died, his humanity died. His spirit didn't die, just like how yours not. And if Jesus is God and it's his humanity of the God that died,
Yeah, but
then the
Allah's not a
humanity
spirit,
died.
so
God
they're not
didn't
gonna
die.
understand
The
that.
humanity died. What's hard to
Let me
understand about that?
No,
they don't understand
The humanity of Jesus
Which
died,
part was humanity?
not God.
Which part?
The body part.
The body.
He said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh.
Okay.
It's that bit that became flesh.
So-
It's that. It's that bit that became flesh. The Word that became flesh.
So
That's what died. The body, the humanity.
Okay, listen carefully.
So God was still alive when
Okay,
that
I understand that.
happened.
So
because God is
correct me if I'm wrong.
right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
So you said
The word became flesh. The word became flesh.
So and correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. You said Jesus
Jesus
the
is
body
the word
died.
of God.
Yes,
So the spirit is God.
The spirit is still alive.
No, I'm speaking to him.
No. Let me ask you next question.
No.
Jesus
Wait.
as a
I haven't
human
finished
being.
my point. We've been friends speaking next to my ear. Let's understand each other.
Let's go. Okay, you're right. Okay.
In order for us to leave
Yes, of course.
with the beneficial.
Don't be so frantic.
I'm not. Let us understand something,
Yes.
and I hope you're open to understand it.
Yes.
So Jesus was human. Which part of his body? That's my question was to you. Which part of Jesus was human? You said no. Then you explained yourself. You
I
said
just answered. Okay,
the
can I
body.
answer that?
No. Let me finish.
Okay. It's a long question, but go on, Karen.
So according to you, the body, the flesh was human, correct? And the spirit was God. But you just refer to yourself because you said the word which is you believe is God became a flesh.
You're telling
so
me
which
what I
God
said.
became a flesh?
Can I answer
so
what I said?
no, let me finish, then you can answer.
No, but you just told me what I said,
You
and I
just
didn't say that.
You didn't say the word became flesh.
No,
That's on the camera. The word became flesh.
Let me explain.
Shamsi walks off because
Shamsi, stop
Christians
asking.
they cannot answer.
Stop acting.
I'm not acting.
The camera is here, and it's showing that you're asking for
No, I'm not.
questions.
Because you're
Can I
your
answer now?
viewers, I wanna come to your channel to expose
Can
you.
I answer now? Can I answer now? Can I answer now?
You believe
You
the
can't
word became
afford for me
flesh.
to answer. This is what
I'll let
Muslims
you
do.
answer.
You can't afford for me
I'll
to
let you
answer
answer.
because I'm going to smash your argument.
Okay,
Right. Let me answer. Right. Okay, thank you. Right.
So who became flesh?
Right. Two things.
Who became flesh?
First of all, as a human being, Jesus had a human spirit. If he's a human being, he had a spirit.
So which part is God?
So let's establish that.
Which part is God? You know, let me.
But the camera is exposing that Shamsi's a fake.
No,
Shamsi is
it's
a fake.
exposing Shamsi is not on the drugs.
Shamsi is a fake. Shamsi is a fake. Right, let me speak. Right, okay. Now let's do it scripturally. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and that Word that was with God became flesh. That's Jesus human.
So the Word became flesh.
So this Jesus human,
Okay, the Word became flesh,
this
yeah?
Jesus human that you're saying that the Romans and the Jews killed, they killed a human man. And remember when Jesus was standing. Remember when Jesus was standing on earth and he said, "Nobody has gone." Jesus said it. Nobody has gone up into heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man who is in heaven. So while Jesus is standing on earth, he said that he's in heaven. Now Allah can't do that.
No.
Because Allah can't do subject. Allah can't do subject. Allah can't do two things at once. No. I've answered you. I've answered you.
He wants to digress.
So what I'm saying,
no.
I'm not digressing. I'm telling you who God is, and I'm telling you what the word is.
Then you come forward.
I have one question. I asked you, do you believe in flying carpets?
I'm telling you
and
who
you
God is.
refuse to
So what I'm
answer
saying
because
is,
you're embarrassed.
unlike Allah,
Yes, I believe it.
Now ask him the question. Do you believe in
flying
flying carpets?
carpets? Do you believe in flying carpets?
Yes, I believe it. Now you're shouting. Now it has not become a dialogue. Now it's a
It was never a dialogue.
It's a shouting
It was
match.
never a dialogue.
It is
Let me
dialogue.
speak. It was never a dialogue.
So
So now we've established that Jesus is God. Now we've established that Jesus is God. You need to repent and be born again.
Look his guys. Look his logic.
Now that we've
Can we move aside?
established,
He's speaking here.
now that we've established that Jesus is God, we've now established.
No.
It's my time to speak.
No.
It's my time
You
to speak.
answered already.
It's my,
now you're
I
digress.
haven't finished.
No, you answered.
No, I haven't
Which
finished.
part of Jesus is
I haven't
God?
finished.
You said it's a flesh. Then
I
you said
haven't
spirit. Then you said no, spirit of Jesus was human.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Right, let me
He
say
said
that.
that. You did say that. In the camera, he did say that. Why are you telling me, Shamsi, you're running? Wallah, I don't run.
Right, Shamsi's acting. Shamsi's acting again. Shamsi has no intelligence. He doesn't actually. He actually doesn't have an intelligent question to ask. You don't have an intelligent question to ask. That's the problem.
Yeah, Saeed. Reload that when he said Jesus had spirit in human. Then he said spirit was God.
Do you believe in flying? Right, my question. Do you believe in flying carpet? Do you believe in flying carpet? Do you believe in flying carpet? So you don't want to answer me? Do you believe in flying? Do you believe in flying carpet? Shamsi, I'm asking you a question. Do you believe in flying?
Can I speak? Can I speak?
Do you believe in flying carpet?
Can I speak?
Yes.
Okay.
Answer the question.
He came. No, don't tell me.
No. My question is, do you believe in flying carpet?
No, that was not our discussion.
No, that's it.
No.
We finished that discussion.
No, we haven't
finished
that.
that.
We haven't finished.
My question. So I'm answering your question, but you don't want to answer mine now.
I have no problem.
You asked me a question about Jesus and God. I answered. Now I'm asking you one. Do you believe in flying carpet?
I said already yes, I believe.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay.
Now let's go back to the main point.
Okay.
The main point here is that you. I ask you a question.
The main point is that Jesus is God in flesh. The main point is that Jesus is God in flesh.
Remember, look.
And because God took on human form and died, the humanity died. And why did Jesus die? He died for your sins. So you need to repent of your sins and be born again, so that you don't go to hell.
Can I speak now?
That's what you need to do.
So now, the point is, I ask him, which part of Jesus was God?
I answered you. And you're trying to catch me on a word. You're going around. Yeah, I know. You asked me. I said Jesus is God in human form. What's your next question?
You need to answer his question.
Jesus is God in human form. That's what I said. And so therefore the humanity that is not God. What's your next question?
So our discussion was, I came to him, I said to him, which part of Jesus was God? He answered by saying, Jesus, the human body, the body was human, the spirit was God. Then if you watch the video again, he said, no, even Jesus had a human spirit, yeah? So ask him. He mentioned John 1:1, and it goes on, yeah? That the God that became flesh, because the word, when in the beginning said, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word is God. So was God, okay. The word was God, yeah? So the word, the word that became
flesh as
yeah, yes, what I'm saying. So the word that became flesh, who became flesh? God. So the flesh that of human.
The word of God.
No. Okay. No.
So the word of God.
So no God.
The word of God.
Okay. Let me understand correctly.
Jesus was with God in the beginning.
Let me understand it correctly. Let me understand correctly. So do you believe God became flesh, or His speech became flesh?
God took on human form.
That's what it says. God became flesh.
God took on human form. Say
you are debating each other. He said the word of God. He said debate each other.
Yes,
you see what they're trying to say is that there's three gods.
So when I say let me speak.
No, let me speak. You're trying to misrepresent me. You're trying to misrepresent me. In the beginning was the word. In the beginning was the word. In the beginning was the word. And the word was with God. And that word that was with God became flesh. So the word became flesh. So word became flesh. I'm telling you to calm down.
No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't record him about his clothes. None of that, please. Yeah, no, don't say look tell. No, don't do that. That's wrong. Forgive us.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
We're not gonna. So the point here, let's go back. Say Shamsi, wrong or right? Is it correct that the God became flesh?
Let me answer you.
No, yes or no?
No, yes or no. You don't determine it today. Let me answer my way. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It's the Word that was with God that became flesh.
But you said the Word was God.
The Word became flesh.
The Word is God.
The Word
is God.
So God became flesh.
The Word is God, and the Word became flesh. What's hard to understand?
Allah bless you too.
What's hard to
Don't be like
understand?
this guy.
What's hard to
I'll tell you what
understand?
is hard for me.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay.
You're going to tell us.
I'm going to tell you what's the hard bit.
You're going to tell us what's
Because Leon is recording.
Yeah.
And everyone. Why is hard for me?
Yeah.
That he said in the beginning was the Word.
No, the Bible said it.
Okay, yeah, according to the Bible.
Yeah.
In the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God.
With.
Yeah,
Word, with.
And, let me finish my point. Okay. And the Word was God.
Yes.
So was the Word God?
No.
No, was the Word God?
Right, let me finish.
No.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
The Word was God.
So the Word was God.
Okay.
And it's the Word that became flesh.
Hear me out. So the Word was what? Was God. So He became flesh. God.
The Word. That was God.
Which is God.
The Word, yes.
How else to God become flesh?
So what's
Can
your
you debate
problem?
them?
So what's your problem?
My problem.
Right, hold on,
I'll tell you-
hold on. What's your problem with
I'll
that?
tell you my
Okay, right.
problem.
What's your problem with that?
I'll tell you what's the problem. The problem, ikhwa, my Muslim brothers, don't be like this clown here behind me.
What's the
Please.
problem?
Okay. Yes, you are a clown. Yes. That's how to be nice with the stubborn ones.
He calls me a clown, but he believes in flying
Yeah.
carpets.
What's the
and
problem?
all that.
Wait.
So what's the bigger
Wait.
clown? Flying carpets, and you're calling me a
My
clown.
Muslim brothers.
Oh, wow, that's a really smart man.
And I don't believe God. His nappy was changed by a woman.
I don't believe in flying carpets.
He's God
That's
who's a
fine.
baby.
Okay,
And I'm watching his
have
nappy.
you
Do you
noticed?
believe that?
You haven't told me what the
I'll
problem
tell you
is.
what's the
What's your problem? Hold on, let's talk. I want to know what his problem is.
The problem is. The problem is.
I'm not talking to you.
No, you're not.
Don't call me a clown if you're not ready to be.
Yeah, like a baby. You believe
Oh,
God
I'm a
became
baby.
Go on.
Church
I'm
is
a baby,
nappy.
but he believes in flying carpets in the book of fables. Wow, yeah.
So your problem is what? For the record, your
I'll tell you.
Shamsi's problem is
My problem is that you accept the word was God, correct?
the word was God, as he said.
That's my question.
Yes.
Do you accept it?
Yeah.
So who became flesh?
The word.
Which is
God.
So God became flesh.
Yeah. And your problem is?
My problem is you believe Jesus, his flesh died. So
Yes.
God died.
No.
What?
No.
People judge. People judge. People judge.
No. You got it wrong. Shame on you. Shame on you, Shami. Shame on you.
Come. My dogs, like my dogs. Come, follow me.
So the conclusion is,
I wish I to be rude to the viewers, 3 or 6 viewers mixed. I wish I to be rude, but this I finished with them. You cannot debate someone like that. He said God became flesh. Then I said who died? Jesus was a flesh, and Jesus died in a flesh. So who died is God, because who became flesh is God. He said no.
He said the flesh is not God.
He says no, it's not God. But according to the Bible, it's not a spirit. Jesus, which they believe God, never became a spirit. According to them, what became a spirit is the flesh, which they believe died. So therefore, God died according to them. Cannot debate them. But sometimes people say, why should I speaking to people like that? You know they are insincere. Just to expose them and to show the other Christians who are sincere, thinking that we run away from the missionaries. We're not running away, because you missionaries, they don't answer a simple question. If you go to a baby, I'm speaking, may Allah bless you Muslims. Wallah, I speak in the same time, because according to even a brother, please. If you come to someone, you say, Jesus was God, and God is the Word, and God became flesh, and the Word was God. Then that flesh died, but God never died. You have to smoke crack to understand this. Any human being can understand. Leon, do you understand it? Stop smiling. Stop smiling. Show him. You never understand it. Even you never understand it. No, be serious. Serious. I'm speaking to him. Look after yourself. Right, take care. Take care. Look after yourself.
I like your answer.
Yeah, take care. Of course. I never look after yourself. Remember, Christian, you God became a baby. Okay, I will tell you.
He went to the toilet. He went to the toilet. Don't forget that.
الله خليه يفهم تعالى الله علوا كبيرا Saeed, don't mention this point. It's not good point. He was a white man or black man. It's not good point, to be honest. Brother, please. So my point here is, Akhi, wallah, brother, that's a problem. You Muslims keep, I'm speaking to him. If any brothers from giving da'wah speak to one, don't interrupt. My point here is that all Christians or laymen, don't say we run away from you missionaries. We're not. Missionaries don't make any sense. They believe God became a baby and someone had to take care of him. Someone had to change his nappy. I'm not mocking you. That's what you believe. Someone had to breastfeed him. Are you serious? So the all-powerful God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the sustainer, the one who provides for everyone, no one provides for him. We should accept that. But on the other hand, you believe women had to provide for him. Women had to help him to change his nappy because he had to relieve himself. We don't believe that. We call you to Islam. Look, Allah said, Allah is the only one. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Only one. As-Samad. What is Samad? Master, self-sufficient. He's not in need of no one. Everyone is in need of him. لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ. He begat not, neither was he begotten. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And there is nothing like unto him. He tried to mock me saying, I believe in a flying carpet. I don't believe carpet fly by itself. I believe Allah is a powerful, do everything. Like you believe God is powerful, he caused the water to split into two. The miracles of Moses. But you don't ever try to mock me, because if I show you a picture of a baby coming out from a woman's private part and you believe that is God, no one will take it serious. Anyway, that's my explanation. Allah bless you, and Allah guide those who are sincere.
Allah bless you too.
Take a Leo, man. Be honest, Leon. You don't believe that?
My mouth is shut.
Yeah.
No bias here.
Alright, inshallah. I'm going to give you da'wah as well, because you're talking too much. Recording for da'wah. Come. No, I'm not talking about riba. No. I can't talk about riba.
If you don't believe that, that means you're apostate.
Riba. Yeah, riba.
No one can explain this new thing on the YouTube. Yeah? Everyone like in the comment section.
To be honest, I will write something because that one will need something like.
What's the conditions of it? Like if a people there in a halakha, guys,
I'm not trying to control you, brothers. Forgive me, but you know, forgive me, my brothers. Forgive me. I don't want to show you being seen in the camera like I'm trying to control everyone. I'm saying what we do when we speak to these guys, just catch them. Don't let them run away, because they want anyone to speak. You understand? That these guys try to mock us. We believe in a flying carpet, like we believe carpet fly by itself. We believe that it was a miracle was given to Solomon, like they believe in the miracles. They believe that God created Jesus out of Father. If you ask any human being, they reject it. But those who believe in it because they believe God's able to do everything that befits His Majesty. Okay? But again, the Christians and the Jews, those who are stubborn, they look for any excuse to reject Islam. Even if that excuse goes against their own belief, they will not mind to use it against us. Anyway, backbiting Islam. Anyway, I'm talking about backbiting Islam. There is that issue that we can speak about. Of course, Islam is haram. It's forbidden to backbite to brother. To speak. What is there's backbiting and there's slandering. Backbiting, take care. Yes. Backbiting, when you speak about your brother, even if what you're saying is true, however your brother doesn't like it. For example, imagine we have a brother is very tall, and you say this brother is very tall, and he doesn't like it. That is backbiting, okay? Now, imagine you accuse him to be a murderer, or a robber, or a fornicator, or a thief, and that is slandering, and that is haram in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give an example of backbiting. It's like you eating the flesh of your brother when he's dead, and it's very dangerous. However, let's understand it's very clear. However, there is exception to it, meaning that if someone's spreading misguidance and lying against Islam and so on, you go expose him. Likewise, if you have to go to court, someone took your wealth and everything, you have to expose him by name to the judge. That is permissible. Why? Because it is needed and is necessary. Okay? That's why in Islam we have something called praise and criticize. That's why before we take any narration from any Muslim, we have to know this Muslim is trustworthy, truthful, and honest, and he's known for knowledge. So backbiting, including myself, sometimes we fall into is very dangerous. Likewise, slandering your brother. And even our time, we see some issues people are speaking about in YouTube, online.
On the live chats, the comments,
general, online, those issues. No one, like for example, about marriage, divorce. These issues, my brothers and my sisters, Allah bless you all. This is not the issue that you speak about online. Mufti, Sheikh Ali Sheikh, Allah preserve him. Sheikh Fawzan, me myself, I called him. And I said, yeah, Sheikh, there is a sister, she wants to get divorced, her husband doing this and that. He said, no, go to the people, go to Imam or go to the judge, speak to him, bring the sister and bring the husband. Why? Because sometimes the husband lies against his wife. And he said, my wife, she never listened to me. My wife, she mistreats me. My wife this. But we don't know that. The wife's not there. So, vice versa, the wife, she will say, my husband's doing this and that. In Islam, no. Both of you come and not up in front of everyone. You go to the judge. Why? The judge is someone expert in this field. You don't go to someone who has no clue about Islam. He has no clue about Islam, and maybe he's a Muslim, but doesn't have even enough knowledge how to perform a prayer or wudu, and you see him as a qadi. What is a qadi for the non-Muslims or the non-Arabic speakers? A judge. As mashallah, her channel or his channel is like a court. If you have any issues with your husband, come forward. If you have any issues with your wife, come forward. Big scholars in Islam fear this. Mufti al-Sheikh, they called him in a program. A brother, he said, my wife, I'm having a problem with my wife. Sheikh said, I don't answer these questions. Go to the court. But we have young brothers, young sisters speaking about these issues as mashallah, tabarakallah, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. Or what's his name? Ibn Hazm al-Zahiri. No, brothers, including myself, advise these issues, we should not be speaking about them openly. If a brother has a problem, okay, brother, go to the Imam, or sister, both of you go to Imam, sit together, try to resolve the problem. Both of you, you have to overlook the mistakes of each other. We're not perfect. You know, we're always asking our wife to do things for us, but do we fulfill their rights? Naam, so that's my advice. And backbiting, as I've mentioned, is very dangerous.
Can you do it in the comment? Hold on. Can you do it in the comment section, Akhi? Like like in the live chats. Yeah,
I don't do this, Akhi. You know me, I don't deal with this live.
No. Can you backbite as well? And what's the conditions of
backbite? Is haram, Akhi.
Yeah.
Exception, which is that if you go into the courts, okay, or someone wants to marry your sister, and you want to find out about him if he's a good person or not, you're allowed to ask people, and the people are allowed to mention his mistakes. Also, sometimes it's permissible to say a brother is tall if the only way to know him by describing him, then it's permissible. Naam, so don't mix between the two.
The online one.
No, brother, I'm not talking about online, brother.
Same thing.
I'm talking about everything, online and offline. Brother, online and offline. Online, offline, between the line is forbidden. Backbiting, brother, please. Brother, please. My point is offline. Online, between the line is haram. Backbiting your brother or your sister is haram. As we have mentioned, there is exception. That's why some people will say, why Shamsi won and get so and so? Why you backbiting your brother? No, it's needed. Those guys are Khawarij, misguided people. And not every person are called Khawarij. Exception to expose the Rafida, Khawarij, and Al-Bidah. Naam, you mentioned by names.
That's the only exception.
No, likewise.
Is there any other exceptions?
I'm coming to you. If you have some.
I want to know.
Yes.
I'm quite curious.
Likewise, if someone wants to do business with you,
Like,
if you don't know one person, if you don't know one person, if you don't know a person, and he wants to do a business with you, you have to investigate about the person. So it is okay for the people to mention his mistakes and say, no, don't do business with him. He's not trustworthy. That's not backbiting. That is halal. Why? Because to defend you from him, from his evil. Likewise, if someone wants to marry your sister or your daughter, you're allowed to do investigation about him.
But you have
and
to talk. Sorry.
The people are allowed to speak about him. What do you want to say?
I want to say, before you go online exposing people, you have to give them advice, like one-to-one, personal.
Yeah, that's true. You Muslim brothers,
private,
you have to do it. And akhi, correct them, and so on. And brother, online, offline.
They're just gonna go mad.
But online is worse. I agree with you. Online is worse. You know why, brother? You can speak, akhi. Online, because I already covered that. You're just repeating yourself. Now, online is. Online is worse. Why online is worse? Because, especially in Speaker's Corner, brothers, we have to understand that Speaker's Corner became worldwide. I was speaking to Leon about this issue. That you have to know how to portray Speaker's Corner. Like if you always record people fighting, people accusing one another to be this and that, people would think Speaker's Corner is some wild animals place. Everyone's going crazy. There is high in Speaker's Corner. That's why I keep coming. Sometimes, yes, as we have mentioned, in the nature of Speaker's Corner, you do fall into some argument which is not praiseworthy, okay? But accusing people, it's online. People, they don't even understand the issue behind it. And accusing this brother is a lie. No, it's not Islamic. It's not. To go online, except if someone is mubtadi', misguided, calling people to misguidance. But personal issues, no. It's not be spread out because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, woe to those who spread the fahish amongst the Muslims. Why? Because why? That weaken the Muslims. Muslims can look. Muslims are smoking drugs. The Muslims are doing this. We are in a bad situation. You start thinking the Muslim Ummah became corrupted. No. And subhanallah, human nature, Muslim or non-Muslims, if we see someone doing good, we never spread it out. But if we see someone doing evil, everyone will spread it out. Why? You should spread something good about your brother.
Okay, I want to ask
and I'm
you a
not
question
perfect
about
as a human being. I make mistakes like any that. This advice I always mention to me first. You know, I'm not perfect. We are human beings. That's what Imam Malik said. If the only person that should give advice, the one does not fall into sin, therefore no one should give advice. Because from human nature we fall into sin. Nah, doesn't mean because I'm doing something incorrect, I should not advise my brother. Likewise, you should advise me. No, we advise one another. Advice is above everything. You know?
Do you have to, another thing is, if you're in a halakha, and
circle,
the circle, and if someone's doing ghiba, what do you do? Do you leave, or do you advise them, or what do you do?
If someone do ghiba, basically for the non-Muslims, or for the Muslims,
backbiting, tell them.
It's backbiting.
Ghiba
As we have defined what is backbiting, to speak about your brother behind his back, even about something which he has, which is true, but he doesn't like it. That's backbiting. النميمة.
What about correcting someone like what he said?
I spoke about this.
It's only done on it.
Yeah. So if you're in a gathering, one brother's backbiting, you advise him, "Akhi, fear Allah." That's haram backbiting. If you carry on, you leave.
And then you join. Sometimes it's so bad. People join in.
No, you leave, akhi. You leave, akhi.
Yeah, you leave.
If you join in without you remembering, make tawbah to Allah. All of us, we fall into some type of shortcomings. We're not perfect.
Yeah.
We advise one another.
Yeah.
Now we know the Muslim Ummah become like everyone's enemy one another. Let's expose so and so. Let's expose. There's exception. If someone sahibu bid'ah,
Yes.
but some personal issues, issues that is needed to be verified very, very well. Issues has to go back to the court, to the judges, to look into it. Bear in mind, judges would take them months or a year to look into the case. You have, mashallah, brothers and sisters, take them one day and they come with decision. Yeah, this brother is wrong. This sister is wrong.
And what do you do?
I'm talking about personal issues.
Yeah, what do you do? You know, when someone reminds somebody, don't backbite,
Yeah.
and then that person goes and tells everyone, you know what, this person is not perfect, or you know, like not happy.
No,
with
there's no
because-
justification.
Just because you're advising them, oh, they're advising you. Why are they advising you? Do you understand? They're not happy because you're advising them not to backbite.
Brother-
And telling everyone, oh, look at this guy advising everyone.
You think it's
using
better
what-
than everyone?
Yeah, and all this.
Brother,
sort of
akhi,
thing.
look, akhi, yeah? Imam al-Shafi'i said, رضا الناس غاية لا تدرك. I'll tell you this funny story, and there is a moral thing behind it. In Arabic language, I translate it. Pleasing people, something you will never be able to achieve. They said there's a person called Juha. Or we'll say another person, because Juha was one of the muhaddithin. They said another person with his son. They said this person, he said to his son, the father said to his son, my son, I'm going to show you that you'll never be please people. You'll never be able to please people. So he said, let us go, you and I, with our donkey, pass by a group of people. So they went past by a group of people. Said, look to these people. They are foolish one. They have a donkey and they don't use it. He said, oh my son, let us, me and you, ride upon a donkey. They went past by another group of people. Said, look, these evil people. Donkey, look, it's poor donkey. It's very weak. And above them on a donkey, he said, oh my father, let me get off donkey and you stay on a donkey. So they carried donkey. They went past by another group of people. Said, look, this old man doesn't respect his young son. His son is very weak. He said, oh my son, let me get off and you get on a donkey. They walked past another group of people. Said, look, this young man doesn't respect his father. His father is walking as on a donkey. He said, oh my son, me and you, let us carry the donkey. Then they went past a group of people. Said, look, this is a foolish one. They carry the donkey. Then he said, oh my son, you know what I'm showing you? Whatever you do, no one can please, you cannot please everyone. So we're not here to please people. People can slander you, lie against you, accuse you, many things. My brothers and my sisters, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they accuse him to have a son. They accuse Allah to get tired. They accuse Allah to be stingy. They accuse Prophet Muhammad to be a liar. What about us? They accuse Jesus to be racist to the Canaanite woman. They accuse Moses to kill innocent people. They accuse Solomon for into idol worshipping. So what about us? They accuse Ishmael. They accuse many people. My point here is that do your job, do your duty, akhi. Advise the people. If you have a knowledge, of course, advise. As for people accepting or not, is not your duty. You do what is upon you. Allah said, وَمَا عَلَى الرَّسُولِ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ. What is upon the messenger to convey the message. That's what is upon us, to convey the message. Brother, one brother sent me a comment section. One guy said about me, he's gonna, I don't mention, he's gonna do this to me. Brother, I know if you read comment section, you go Majnoon.
Yes, that's true.
But remember those, they're right on the comment section.
Majnoon is crazy.
You can tell him it's me.
No. The point is, the point here is, those people we don't even know if they are human beings or not.
That's true.
If they are sane or insane, you have problem with us. Come speak at school, not have dialogue with us. We, alhamdulillah, we show our faces. We don't fear no one except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you are called in Arabic, in our terms, we call you jihadist keyboard. You do jihad in keyboard. That's what you do.
Keyboard jihadi.
Keyboard jihadi, yeah. Which is jihadist. You're very mujahid in keyboard. Yeah, that's what you do. Behind keyboard doing jihad. But I come to real life, we're here. But my point I mentioned that many times, backbiting, slandering is a big sin, brother. I don't know how can I say it. But anyway, that's a shade. Is that clear?
Yeah.
What do you want to say? Yeah, but even one thing I have to advise brothers with. Wallahi, even these live shows and everything, let us bring student of knowledge, bring scholars, other things. Don't do your own show and this and that.
That's definitely right. Definitely right.
Why? Because
Definitely.
doing your own show, people are gonna start talking about you, and it's true. Sometimes you're not even.
It's a bit confusing for normal
You're not a person of someone who should be put yourself forward to teach people and that. So make your channel is da'wah channel, but don't make your channel as khayt channel. You know, one day it's da'wah, one day someone fighting someone, one day someone chasing someone, one day someone do. It's not this.
That's why I have two channels. One's for
No, please,
you know what the normal channels what I've got here? Like there's no scholars and everyone's talking about the religion is all, and they get bare things wrong, and then you see like a lot of things people like copy and pasting other hadiths and all that, and then there's so much clashes with different sects. It becomes confusing.
But sometimes, to be honest, the people come and say
scholars are good to come.
Of course, the scholars is a ni'mah.
Yeah.
And let me clarify something, because he's recording, and most of the viewers in COE. Yes.
It's a lesson.
People
is it live?
Listen
Okay.
to scholars.
My point is that people say scholars in Islam. Our scholars in Islam is not like a Freemason thing, Because I remember one of the guys, I don't mention them. I believe they were sincere. They were speaking, just asking questions. Our scholars not. You don't have to go through a secret agent to become scholar. No. Anyone can become scholar, and we don't accept scholar statements if there is no proof from the Quran and the Sunnah. Imagine scholar said, now it's okay for you to drink khamr, alcohol. So Allah clearly said, I said you are a misguided scholar. Or a scholar says, now it's okay to fornicate. We said, you know, scholar, you're the Dajjal, a liar. You know, evil man. We say it's okay to have a girlfriend. So you know, scholar, you're a kadab. Because why? There's no proof, rather the proof in the Quran go against it. So in Islam, the foundation is clear. But some issues are unclear. You go back to scholars, meaning those who study this issue from the ahadith, various ahadith, and bringing the Quran together, and the aqwal of the companions, and understand them very well, and they come to conclusion. For example, you can know certain things about medicine, but when you go in, you don't know in depth. If you want to learn about medicine in depth, you go to the experts. No one said don't go to experts. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you should trust them, but I'm saying, like in Islam, we don't trust every scholar. If a scholar comes with misguidance, we reject him. And Prophet Muhammad warned us against evil scholars. There will be evil scholars. Okay? I can become a scholar if I'm sincere. Abu Layth is an evil scholar without any doubt. Okay? 100%. That is not Abu Layth, it's Abu what do you call it? No. It's Abu Mouse. Abu Fa'ar, the father of a mouse. Wait, brother. Because I will tell you, Allah bless you. Maybe people say, Shamsi, when you try to control the people. If you keep cutting me, I cannot finish my point, I forget it. Now let me finish my point. And then I know sometimes maybe I did too long. Okay. My point here is, now look, I forgot. Anyway, the shades, evil scholars, we won't against them and we stay away from them. Okay. That's the other thing. Look after yourself.
May Allah guide you to the truth.
Okay, man.
That's peace. Two deeds. When a scholar tells you something right, then just something wrong.
That is true. That's true. But anyway, what I will finish with, of course, a scholar, there's a hadith, but this is a different thing, that if a scholar make ijtihad, meaning that if he tried to derive a ruling from the Quran and the Sunnah, and he was unable to reach the conclusion where he got it wrong, you have his reward for striving harder to look in the Quran and the prophetic tradition to find the conclusion. However, if he gets it right, you get double reward. But my point here is that in Islam we have evil scholars and we work against them. As the brother mentioned, Abu Layth, to be honest, he's not even scholar to begin with. Okay? Anyways, my point is everything is halal for him. The other thing I want to mention that I conclude with, ikhwa, if you don't know him, you're good, alhamdulillah, you're blessed. If you don't know him, very good. Trust me, you're very good. My point is that some issues are not in speaker's corner, people debate about, which is deep in the heart, be honest with yourself. Like we know in every field there's an expert. I'm not going to read a book of medicine and start doing operation every person's heart as a band expert. I'm not going to do that. Let's be realistic. Now, by Islam, you don't have to go through secret agent to become a scholar as people try. You can become a scholar by study, learning, and the Quran is not in a hidden cave that only people go inside the cave. No, it's open for everyone to read the Quran, study, and learn. And the Prophet,
battery is extremely low.
Yeah, prophet tradition. So the last thing I will leave you with, all people, every part in our body has a purpose. Let alone ourselves, we have a purpose. A wise man, if I'm traveling to a country, oh, please let me finish. You can tell me what to say, barakallahu fikum. I believe people are the viewers are the wise people. If you're traveling to a country you've never been there before, what would you do first? You study beforehand. Is it safe country? Is it cold country? Which currency they use? The foolish man, the one who says, you know what, when I get there, I will come to know. But guess what? When he gets there, it's a dangerous country. Likewise, one day we have to live this life. That's what Allah charged people with death. Anyone reject Allah and His messengers, Allah charged you with death, and you will never run away from it. Allah said, say to them, O Muhammad, the death that you try to run away from, verily will meet you, and you will return to Allah. So let us study why we have to die, what is the truth, why we have to worship the Creator. Every person know, if someone does a favor to you, you should appreciate him for his favor. What about the Creator's favors? The water, the air that we breathe, our ability that we can walk and talk and everything. There's many blessings of the Creator. So let us study and analyze and be honest, because maybe you are hyping the speaker's corner, rejecting what is clear cut, makes sense. What about us when we die and meet our Creator? Some people say there's nothing. That's what you are hoping. But Allah said you will return to your Lord. So I will leave you with this. Study about Islam and study about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and there's many lie against him. And guess what? Even people lie against our prophets. The fastest growing religion on the face of earth is Islam. Go to the mosque in Islam. Go to the mosque on Friday. Just more people coming. Go to church on Sunday. Empty. No one is there. Everyone drunk on a Saturday night. No one's going. Everyone's hangover on Sunday. Cannot be bothered to go to church. It's empty, literally. You see, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised us in the Quran, and that is a prophecy, that Islam will spread. We're not forcing no one with a sword or a spoon or a fork. We're not forcing no one. But Allah promised us that He will spread His religion. Those who hate Islam, you are waging a war against the Creator. I will tell you something, a glad tidings for you, you're going to lose. Anyway, we'll finish with this. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وصلى الله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Take care.
Hey, big up here. It's live stream.
Take care, man. Look yourself, man. Take care, man.
What's it about?
Yo. So what I got on, man? Tan. Who's next? Going girls at the popos, working your nails. What are you saying?
But I know I'm talking to him at the moment, so I don't consider anything really problematic. Like, I think you believe in things that are wrong, but it doesn't affect me and it won't ever affect me. So, I mean, I don't mind that. I mean, but anyway, so, when you said that there isn't a book of Sharia law, I'm afraid that that's not really correct. There's books of Islamic jurisprudence or fiqh, and when
because we live in a society, it's not stagnant.
It's just like you said.
But I'm saying, when you mistake them as your brother, because you have to remember something, you know really who's your brother according to problems. When you come across a crossroad and a problem, then you really see who's your brother. You get me?
I won't use his language because when I talk to black people, I have to understand that black people are very collectively sensitive. So I would never use that because...
No, you don't like my language, don't you? You like the clear cut. That's right, clear as hell. No need for translation, none of that.
You're going on like, okay, man's on a scale, on the wrong end of the scale, like not balanced. Like,
let me just do it. Well, you're gonna go there, yeah, for the
man's like collectively sensitive. That's not what man is collectively.
My thing is, I know that you work probably with people that actually, if you were to really be objective and check it, for the time being, you've got to be subservient.
Oh, that's fine, yeah, whatever.
No, but am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong.
Well, so we were talking about subservient-minded, in the sense of, yeah, black people come together, talking about solutions for black people, and we then start talking about non-black people, including that solution. So that's what I talk about the psychology.
From what I understood,
yeah, from this, and this may be where I misunderstood, yeah, but from what I understood, yeah, you said there's no other culture who will be subservient. I'm like, actually, no. We dip in and out of scenarios where we have to be. Do you know what I mean?
So the brother Esau was talking about the mindset, right? We are talking about the subservient mindset.
Yeah.
As in, like, we've come together, we realize we're going through hell, we're trying to work on solutions, and the first thing someone says is, okay, so how can we help other people? This is what this is referred to as subservient mindset. Rather than, you know what, I'm actually being, let me give you an example.
I think I was doing that when I brought in other communities, because I wasn't doing
I do.
I didn't say how can we help other communities. You see what I'm saying? But we work in an ecosystem. You see what I'm saying? Because we talked about, you talked about these other communities. Look, you said that's what all these other communities do. You're the one talking about these other communities. And I'm saying, boom, yeah, in certain situations, because we live amongst each other, you say community, but there's the black community, and then there's your area community. You see what I'm saying? And then there's your church community.
The fact that,
there's different communities.
here's what it is, yeah. When I talk to black people collectively, we always try to find ways to then, like, make the conversation more complex, right? It's really simple, isn't it? It's like, if people in a wheelchair came together to work on wheelchair problems, it wouldn't make any sense for one to go, what about the person who's got one arm? It's like, well, you know, we're talking about wheelchairs, right?
No, but if they were on crutches, and sometimes they're not on wheelchair.
We're now making it complex.
I know, but that's society, though. It's not always one thing.
Okay,
it's not. At this park is one thing, at work is something different, bro. Do you get me in the hood?
All we can do is give philosophies that we know work, right? How you implement is how you implement it, right? But what I'm saying is it's the motivational drive. And the fact is, you know, if those wheelchair people realize there's wheelchair needs and it's not actually being taken care of, they come together to work on those particular solutions. If when they come together, they got the finance, they got the team ready, and one guy in wheelchair goes, you know what? Can you forget that? Let's half the money and give it to people with one arm. It's like, whoa, we came here for this purpose. So black people have to talk about solutions for black people. Why do we need to mention non-black people? Because we are subservient minded. This is the fact.
With the wheelchair people being subservient to people with one arm just because they wanted to include them?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because wheelchair people have come together because they realize there is no wheelchair toilets, there's no lifts, there's nothing that can help them, and they are suffering because of it, right? So they get money, they get community, they get a hall, they hire it, they come together, they've got 1 hour to discuss it, and when they're there, so the first one goes, you know what? Let's talk about one-handed people and how much we can give them. Yeah, it's nonsensical.
Okay, look, I got one sandwich.
It's called black-minded.
I got one sandwich here, and I'm thinking, bruh, the man wants half of this sandwich.
Give him the sandwich.
Yeah. Okay, but now I'm being subservient just because in my nature it is to look out for people. Is that subservient, or is that something else?
Okay, it can be. The answer is yes, and here's why, right? Because of the context. So if you grew up with your brother, or you're walking down the street, see a homeless man, and you want to do a good deed, that's fine. But if we recognize that black people are going brother, remember, you're making the conversation complex because we are black and we are collectively inferior. And I hope that word hurts, because it's meant to, right? Now let's carry on. Yeah. So now, if black people come together, right? If black people come together,
He's just rubbing off.
If black people come together, and we establish that we want to actually erect institutions that's dedicated to helping black people, if we come together for that purpose, and in the midst of that, some with other people, then yes, it's a subservient way. It's nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense because we've come together for that point. Yeah?
But every time I've said it, I've given the reasons why it makes sense.
Listen.
But the thing is, what you're talking about, where you're saying bring next man from another community.
But that's what I'm saying. He's not from another community. He's not of my community because he's one of my people. They're bringing him. And I know him, and I know all of you people that I'm seeing as my community, that he's gonna bring you, man, same way, innit?
Yeah, but we're talking about institutions.
We've got 2% left, man. What do you want to say to him?
What, this live stream?
Yeah, live stream, man.
Well, basically, all I'm going to say, after every dark night, there's a bright day. You know, after everyone who's going through suffering right now, the Quran says, "Inna ma'al usri yusra." After hardship, there's ease. You understand? So at the end of the tunnel, there's light. You know what I'm saying? I know all of you going through hard times out there.
We've got 30 seconds, baby.
30 seconds, all I'm going to say is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says be grateful. Shaitan told Allah most of them won't be grateful. So this is a battle between you and Satan to see how grateful you're going to be to Allah, and thank Allah for your blessings. It's your boy Mo Deen. Man's just out here to spread the truth. Assalamu alaikum.